Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Jina! Aki watoto wa siku hizi wakiwa nasumbua. Usikose kuona Gundu KBC Channel 1 every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Ujionee hivi vituko vya watoto wa siku hizi wanaosumbua wazazi na mengine mengi. Keep it Gundu. Jina!
Wananiita Gundu, wakita wengine wata
Amkeni bwana, amkeni, give us on amka. Amkeni bwana, amkeni. Give us on amka. Where is give us on? Director, fanya ile kitu. Give us on.
Yeah, good morning, Victor.
Amkeni bwana, amkeni.
It's okay, Victor. You can have all the day. It's a day.
Amkeni, wadugu watazamaji. Give us on. I can imagine the way you trolled me.
No, I didn't, Victor. I didn't do that. I didn't troll you.
For the better part of Sunday afternoon, a public...
Oh, yes. Yeah. That happens. It was jubilation all over. By the way,
yes,
it has never been seen before. World over. It was crazy because look at it this way. Good morning, people. First of all, let's start. Good morning. This is Good Morning Kenya. It shows you the kind of excitement personally I have. Give us on and Mike tafadhali. You can stick to your corners. It is our time. Mtati raundai. Mtati. Kristo wa neema yote.
Yesterday town was painted red.
And white. That is our home kit. That is our home jersey. I've never seen Manchester United fan or fans. Oh, I said fans. Didn't you? Yes. Intentionally so. Dressed in that.
Wow.
That was crazy.
But then, Victor, I was wondering, how did you mobilize? Like myself, okay, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Right.
But I didn't have a copy that you guys were meeting in town until on Sunday. How did you mobilize all these people?
But then again, you know...
The power of social media.
You know, even those who are celebrating, some of them, I am sure, have never supported us, and they just wanted to be in the moment.
We know.
Fear of missing out.
We know that. We know that.
The joy, you know, the celebration. It was a weekend, though.
Yeah.
But then, the power of how many WhatsApp groups, you know, social media platforms talk about TikTok, Facebook, and all that. An admin will just post one thing, guys. We are meeting at Archives at around 9 a.m., whatever it is, and you'll find them there. Free of charge. Over the weekend, watu tulikuwa Ngong Hills. That's what happens. If you know Milima Saba of Ngong Hills, from the first Milima to the third one is always a problem. So you can imagine going all the way, the seventh one.
Dress rehearsals for yesterday.
Dress rehearsal. Then you come. So that is why I'm representing.
That's why you're in a red tie, right?
I have to represent. Mutajua mimi niko hapa.
Hey, Victor, yes, so we apologize, man.
Let's not forget back home that Gor Mahia also have won.
Yeah.
The Sport Pesa.
Oh, Gor Mahia. Oh,
yes. So that's a double celebration for me.
Kogalo. Congratulations, Bana, to both the teams.
And do you know what happens? Gor Mahia has won their 22nd Arsenal won after 22 years yesterday.
Coincidence.
What can you say?
So are you saying fans of Gor Mahia are also fans of Arsenal?
I don't know about that.
Going by the way, some of the fans behave.
Yes.
Actually, one of our colleagues here is a very ardent Gor Mahia fan.
Give us, was just about to drop something.
I'm saying, Victor, so Gor Mahia fans are largely the fans of Arsenal. And going by the behavior of some of the fans of Gor Mahia, is that how you also behave?
Not so sure. Not so sure. But
okay.
As a Gor Mahia international fan, that is a double excitement.
You know what would be exciting?
Yes.
Ray is a Gor Mahia fan.
She decamped actually, yes.
Yeah, she decamped to Gor Mahia. So I would have wanted to see the celebration you two would have, because you've always been on different football camps.
Regina. So do you know how much the English Premier League winners are going to pocket? They're going to pocket £175 million. That is around 30+ billion Kenyan shillings.
But I think, I think, Victor, I think Arsenal should pocket some more.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's the standard that is going to be, but you see now they have sponsors, there are endorsements, there are, broadcast rights.
You know why I'm saying that, Victor?
Wages and all that.
You know why? You know why? You know why I'm saying that? Not only that they've stayed for 22 years without a title, but I'm also predicting that you might also stay another 22 years without winning another title. So I think you should pocket some more.
So that is wishful thinking. Give us a no.
Come back to the business of the day, gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to the program. This is Good Morning Kenya. I know you must be wondering, this is not a sports analysis today. That is how we started. Karibu sana. It's a good Monday, the 25th day of May 2026. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Olo. So today let's talk about politics. A lot of things are happening. I know probably you've seen what's happening across the nation. I want us to talk politics. So politically speaking, what is happening across the country? We have got political, movements across. We have got friends meeting, and we have got many of them still having talks. Let's talk about that. I'll be having Honorable Francis Mwangangi, who is the Deputy Governor of Machakos, will be here. Amolo Simba, an advocate of the High Court. I'll also be having Gilbert Awino, who is a lawyer, and Sekjen Kuprecomp. And finally, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, who is the Busia woman representative. She is also the Secretary General of ODM. Therefore, we'll be here at exactly 7. So let's do that then. Mike?
Indeed. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwi. Now, today we are talking about the 5th East African Broadcasters Convention that is happening from the 26th of May to the 28th of this month. It is organized by the Association of Professional Broadcasters in collaboration with the Broadcast Media Africa and also MCK plus regional partners, and Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is the official media partner. The convention is bringing together media players to just discuss the evolving media landscape within the continent, and to that conversation I'll be having Tabitha Mutemi, OGW, who is the chairperson, Association of Professional Broadcasters, because the theme of this convention is reimagining the next, talking matters of AI, cloud, and the future of broadcast media in Africa. So what are we reimagining? That is what we shall be exploring in that conversation, which I'll be having at around 8 a.m. And also in our family check segment, we still continue with last week's topic of marriage and modern day challenges and how we can restore matrimonial foundation. Cleo Panjiro is a counseling psychologist. Apostle Helen Anthony is the founder, Marital Travel International, and Pastor David McCory is an author and family man. They will be joining me for that particular conversation, so I implore you to tune into that live broadcast. Give us one.
Thank you, Mike, and of course, Victor. So allow me to delve into the world of news for now. And before we begin, these are the changes. Okay, I'm told to go straight to Kisumu, where the family of a former member of parliament and KBC board chair David Were is demanding justice for their son who was killed by unknown assailants in Kisumu last evening. According to the family, 39-year-old Hannington Were was attacked in the company of a friend at the dead of the Saturday night within Tomboya Estate as they stopped out to buy food. Now, this is the second tragedy within the family of the former Matungu member of parliament within just 4 months after another of Were's son was attacked and killed in Nairobi early this year.
At Kwe Mortuary Grounds in Kisumu County, emotions run high as the family of the former Matungu member of parliament David Were comes to terms with the tragic killing of their son, Hannington Were. Hannington is said to have stepped out of their house last night at Kisumu's Tomboya Estate in the company of a friend to buy food at a nearby joint when they were attacked by unknown assailants on a motorbike.
I'm not so sure when he left because I was sleeping by then. Yeah, I was not feeling well, so I went to bed early. Then he had some friends, so I think he left with the friends. Yeah. Next thing I remember, being woken up that my husband dead.
Nimepokea simu kama saa 9:30 ya asubuhi kutoka kwa my daughter-in-law akinieleza kuwa mume wake ambaye ni kijana wangu amefariki.
Nauliza jameni, hata wenye kuuana wanaua vijana wetu na watoto wetu. Imegeuka wazee ndio wanazika watoto, bara iwe vice versa.
He is reported to have been hit with a blunt object and fell to the ground before the assailants stabbed him severally, then escaped with his phone. His friend managed to escape.
Hannington ambaye ni kijana wangu huyo au kwa mtu hata wa kutembea usiku. Hata nashindwa alitokaje wakati kama huo.
He was then rushed to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival.
Alikuwa na stab wounds, kisu amechomwa huku nyuma mara mbili. Nikana zilikuwa deep wounds na alitoka damu sana. So daktari alikuwa ananiambia kuwa hiyo ndio iliyomuua.
This is the second murder incident that has befallen the family of the former KBC board chair after their son was equally attacked and killed in Nairobi early this year.
Tena alipigwa kwa njia hiyo, alipigwa na tenant wake kule Nairobi na akafariki. Tulizika 20th January.
Why are they killing my children? What have we done? Can't we be told tulipe hiyo tulifanya? Mtoto yangu watoto wangu waachiliwe na amani.
The family is now demanding for speedy investigations into the incident to bring the culprits to book.
Ni matumaini yetu kuwa wata speed up investigations ya hii na ile ingine ambayo pia bado iko pending, ile ingine bado inatusumbua nini litendeka.
The police were yet to comment on the incident at the time of compiling this report. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Anyway, from that sad news, President William Ruto has reassured Kilifi residents that his administration will end the long-standing land injustices and absentee landlord issues which have left a majority of residents living as squatters in the region. Now, speaking at Mnagoni Primary School grounds in Bamba, Kilifi County, during a Thanksgiving event for Youth Principal Secretary Fikirini Jacobs, the president also urged residents to ignore politicians using the land question and other challenges bedeviling the region to deter his administration's quest to transform the coastal region.
President William Ruto was in Kilifi County on the third day of his tour of the coast region Sunday, where he joined thousands of leaders and area residents in a special Thanksgiving event for Youth Principal Secretary Fikirini Jacobs at Mnagoni Primary School grounds in Bamba.
Huyu kijana Fikirini Jacobs mumemulea vizuri. Amefanya kazi na mimi kwa karibu. Na naweza kutoa ushuhuda mbele yenu kwamba ni mtu mwadilifu.
Nataka nichukue fursa hii kwanza kwa heshima na unyenyekevu niseme asante sana kwa kukubali mwaliko wetu kama jamii na kuweza kushiriki pamoja nasi ibada na sherehe zetu.
In his address, the head of state reiterated his administration's unwavering faith in youth capacity to make meaningful and transformative contribution to the development and progress of the country.
Wewe ndio rais wa kwanza ambaye umeamini nafasi na fursa ya vijana. Kwa hivyo leo tukiwa hapa ni siku nzuri pia vijana wengine kupata nguvu, kupata motisha, kupata moyo kwamba inawezekana.
Today is a testament. Leo ni siku kwa kila kijana anayejiangalia katika mtandao, aamini wazi ya kuwa dini yako, kabila yako, pale ulipotoka, haijalishi. Ikiwa tutaweza kuamini, Kenya belongs to all of us.
Mimi nataka nimpongeze kakangu na mdogo wangu Fikirini for that ruthless focus. Kwa sababu ya hiyo, saa hii you can dine and eat with the mighty.
The president went further to highlight how his government has succeeded in transitioning the country into issue-based politics with a focus on national development.
Uongozi wa sasa sio wa kutueleza mambo ya matatizo ya wananchi. Kila mtu anajua. Viongozi wa sasa ni wale wako na uwezo na akili ya kuweza kufikiria suluhisho ya matatizo tulionayo ni yapi.
The president revisited the issue of absentee landlords at the coast, revealing ongoing plans to issue 200,000 title deeds to residents. Additionally, the president revealed that 840 million shillings have been set aside to construct fish landing sites and markets in a bid to boost blue economy activities in Kilifi County.
Tumetumia pesa ya serikali shilingi bilioni 10 kwa mambo ya blue economy. Hapa kwenu, hii ufuo bahari hapa, tunajenga fish landing sites 5 kwa jumla ya milioni 840.
And our Wiper party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has directed all opposition assigned or rather aligned members of parliament to reject the finance bill of 2026, claiming that it introduces punitive taxes on the already overburdened Kenyans. Now, elsewhere, a section of Nairobi County leaders has expressed its support for Raila Odinga Jr. to contest for Embakasi South constituency in Nairobi County in the 2027 general election.
Speaking to the congregation when he attended a church service at ACK St. Peter's Cathedral, Kenol, Murang'a County, Kalonzo said the finance bill is citizen unfriendly at its current form.
Reject Finance Bill 2026-2027 because sasa introduce quietly leasehold.
So lazima atuletee sarakasi, lakini hii yote sarakasi inafanywa hivyo ndio msahau mambo ya gharama ya maisha.
Kalonzo at the same time faulted UDA Secretary General Hassan Omari for what he termed as propagating divisive politics.
So it is not enough for the Secretary General of UDA to apologize. His party leader must be held to account.
This is as Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti has called on leaders to desist from inciting Kenyans along ethnic lines ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Watu wakiomba kura waombe kwa amani. Maneno ya kusema kabila hii hawa hawatakuwa, yule anajua yule atakuwa president wa Kenya ni Mwenyezi Mungu.
We are one community from wherever you come from. As members of the church, we are one community with Christ as our head.
Wavinya spoke during a Sunday service at St. Jude Catholic Parish at the River in Mavoko Sub-County.
Thank you so much.
Elsewhere, a section of Nairobi County leaders led by Nairobi County Speaker Ken Ngondi has expressed their support for Raila Odinga Jr. to contest for Embakasi South constituency in Nairobi County in the 2027 general election.
Baba alisema Kibra ni bedroom yake. Wewe huwezi lala Kibra huko kwa bedroom ya baba yako. tafadhali adopt Embakasi South kama bedroom yako. Wangapi wanakubali? Wangapi wanakubali Junior adopt Embakasi South kama bedroom yake? Mumekubali?
Nimefurahia kukuja kuomba vile baba alikuwa akiomba. Maanisha sisi kama vijana tukue brute, tukue strong, tukue gangare, tusirudi nyuma. Mkae na mimi na nitasimama na nyinyi.
The leaders spoke during a Sunday service at Cathedral of Praise Imara Daima in Embakasi South.
Hata kama uko na msemo na uko na haki yako, si lazima tujigawanyishe. Tugawanyishe na hizo haki zetu. Ndo tugawanyishe hata watu huku chini. Baba alikuwa mtu wa dialogue.
Now, calls have been made for the government to prioritize basic needs, including investment in education, health and agriculture, before spending on the non-essential projects. Now, stakeholders who took part in the budget dialogue in Nairobi accused the government of failing to take into consideration suggestions from public participation forums on priority areas.
For the better part of Sunday afternoon, a public forum was held at All Saints Cathedral in Nairobi, focusing on budget priorities and Finance Bill 2026. Experts who took part in the dialogue expressed concern that the Kenyan government has focused on non-essential projects at the expense of basic needs.
You keep on seeing structures coming up, hospitals, extensions, refurbishments, and so on. But why isn't it leading to improved services in hospitals, whereby if I go to this new building that has been put up at Kenyatta or at any of those hospitals at the local level, why am I still able to go to this very nice building, but I can't get services?
So kid schools first, then tell us about stadiums, all those other things that you want to build. Schools first, hospitals first, then let's talk about those other things. And if it means you have to wait, wait. We have a manifesto, so what? Kids go to school first. We feed people first.
Where is the priority in terms of keeping people healthy so that they are able to build and grow the economy? So when you don't have supplies in hospitals, when you don't have machinery, yet you have people spending 5 times what initially was allocated just for choppers alone.
Banking experts also poked holes in the Finance Bill 2026, arguing that some of the proposals were aimed at burdening the common mwananchi further.
Mobile money, you will be charged more. You know why? Because they want to charge VAT on the payment services. We're going back to a cash economy at this rate, and that's a problem. Yeah? We did not make all these strides to go backwards. Because what you're doing is you're going to make it hard for everybody. The church, the mama mboga out there, the boda rider.
Nancy Okware, Sunday Express.
Now imagine this, being a young woman who has undergone 2 failed kidney transplants and of course dropped out of school for 4 years and of course continues to live with a chronic illness where every flare-up could be life-threatening. That is the reality of Fyona Kabita, a 21-year-old battling end-stage kidney disease since childhood and now in urgent need of help to survive.
Fyona's story is one of endurance against overwhelming odds. She was diagnosed with end-stage kidney disease at just 6 years old, beginning a long and painful journey marked by hospital visits, procedures, and managing severe symptoms.
The physical pain, it starts abruptly. It comes so sudden. I will be okay like a minute ago, then the next minute I'm like, what has happened?
Unfortunately, it happens frequently during dialysis or just within here in the house, she would collapse. During dialysis, both here in Kenya and in India, she would collapse. The BP has shot up to over 240, 250 at some point, over 150, over 140 something. And at some point, the doctors in India told me she had actually suffered a mild stroke because she was hemorrhaging a lot of blood.
Over the years, Fyona has undergone 2 kidney transplants in India, both of which sadly failed. In 2011, her father, Walter Kabita, made the ultimate sacrifice, donating one of his kidneys to save his daughter.
I was her first donor. Actually, Fyona is the youngest Kenyan kidney recipient, probably, because I was her first donor in 2011 when she was in class 1.
The emotional and physical toll weighed heavily on the household, and in 2019, Fyona's mother passed away after years of strain from her daughter's prolonged illness. In 2020, Fyona was back in India for a second kidney transplant.
She got a second transplant in February 2020, but that is the one now that again she lost the graft, as the kidney transplant is not the second graft, in 2022.
According to her father, she has not passed urine since 2025 as she has no functioning kidney. Her hopes now rest on the kindness of well-wishers is captured in this heartfelt letter addressed to the president.
I wrote a letter to the President, William Samoei Ruto, and the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, a cry for help to enable me undergo my urgent third kidney transplant. My father is really struggling with us, and we thank well-wishers for support so far.
Her family says they are now in desperate situation as Fyona urgently needs specialized treatment alongside a possible further transplant, a procedure estimated to cost about 9 million shillings.
Please accept our gratitude on this last journey and step. We believe Fyona is going to make it, that as the year comes to, now media, as the year comes to a close, that she'll be able to enjoy a good year close and a new year.
Donations can be sent to pay bill number 222-111, account number 1913797, or M-Pesa Fyona's dad on 0716 727 012.
Now, the Jijue Jibeta taxpayer sensitization campaign entered its third day of the coastal tour with stops in Kilifi County. Now, the caravan snaked through Malindi Town, Soko Kuu, Malindi Bus Terminus, Gede Pwani University. Now, Mavueni and Mtwapa with the tax man sensitizing eligible taxpayers on the recently unveiled self-care plan for filing returns. The self-care plan allows taxpayers to use a dedicated WhatsApp number or a short code to file their returns effectively, eliminating the time and money used in filing previous returns. The File and Pay campaign is organized by KRA and its media partner, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Returns zangu, na ningependa kuambia watu pia si lazima uende kwa ofisi kwa sababu utapata ni mbali, lakini unaweza tumia pia WhatsApp na unaweza fanya returns. Leo nimeweza kutumia hii WhatsApp na nimeweza kufile returns zangu na nikaweza kushinda mwamvuri.
Now, Kenya and China have sealed a landmark deal that could significantly reshape the country's tourism landscape. The Kenya Tourism Board has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese wildlife and tourism giant Yanua Group, opening a new frontier in ecotourism between Kenya and China's Yangcheng city. Our reporter Timothy Ekipnus has the details on this developing story.
At a high-level conference held here in Nairobi, the Kenya Tourism Board and the China's Yanhu Group put pen to paper on an agreement designed to boost ecotourism flows between Kenya and Yangcheng City, a coastal city in China's Jiangsu province that has earned the remarkable nickname the Oriental Kenya.
We've agreed that we are going to partner to promote our individual destinations because both Yangcheng and Kenya hold UNESCO World Natural Heritage status, and they are both classified as anchors for global biodiversity, and that gives us a great platform to engage.
The signing took place as the part of the 2026 China to Africa Year of People-to-People Exchanges, and the timing organizers say could not be more deliberate.
This MOU mainly focus on 3 parts. First one is we start building the communication and exchanging. That's the first step. And besides that, we also want to concentrate on to promote more cooperation between Yancheng and Kenya. For the third part, it's mainly about we want to promote the visitors exchange. We welcome Kenyans to visit Yancheng, and also we want to introduce our Yancheng people about the tourism resources here in Kenya.
Under the MOU, the two sides have agreed to establish formal information sharing networks to strengthen cooperation on wildlife conservation projects and actively promote visitor exchange, bringing more Kenyans to Yancheng City, while directing Chinese tourists towards Kenya's world-famous wildlife destinations.
We promote or introduce our travel resources back in China. In Yancheng, we have 3 spirits of animals. They are the one we've mentioned: the spoon-billed sandpiper, and the red-crowned crane, and also the black-faced spoonbill. These are the signatures of Yancheng Natural Reserve. And for today, we've signed the memorandum of articles mainly focused on to strengthen or to practicize the upcoming cooperation between Kenya and China, especially the Jiangsu Yancheng.
They are the 3 auspicious animals of our city and are epitomes of the harmonious coexistence between man and nature in Yancheng.
At the heart of the partnership is a conservation story that has captured global attention. The Milu deer, once completely extinct in China, was brought back from the brink after 39 animals were transported from the United Kingdom to Yancheng 4 decades ago. Today, that population stands at over 8,500, making Yancheng home to the world's largest Milu deer reserve.
We don't want our world to have development that destroys nature. At the same time, we don't want to have nature that limit our potential to grow. And therefore, we are trying to learn the art of harmonizing nature and development. And in so doing, we are literally, disciples of the concept of ecological civilization.
Kenya remains committed to working closely with China and African partners to advance biodiversity conservation, cultural heritage, preservation, sustainable tourism, and shared prosperity. Let us continue acting locally while refueling partnerships that create global impact for humanity and nature.
Just as Kenya has worked tirelessly to protect black rhinos and mountain gorillas, Yancheng has spent 4 decades bringing the Milu deer back from extinction to prosperity. This is China's contribution to global species conservation.
The amazing story of the Milu deer is truly inspiring. Once native to China, and how the species disappeared from its homeland in the 19th century because of the habitat destruction and overhunting, and how the small number survived in Europe.
Now let's get sporty for a moment. Gor Mahia have been crowned the 2025-2026 FKF Premier League champions. This is after their closest challenger AFC Leopards lost by 2-1 to APS Bomet during one of the 5 league matches played Sunday. The result leaves Gor Mahia with unassailable lead at the top of the standings with 1 match to play.
Anainyanyua kwake Philip Wasai. Wacha hiyo. Philip Wasai. Koplo Philip Wasai. Kimoi. Unaletwa mpira ndani huku. Tena. amemtoka uzuri kabisa. Victor anaileta ndani, wameweka wenyewe kwenye kamba.
Kama tuwezi badilisha officiating Kenya, tuko na problem. Hamwezi pata game kama EFC, magame zina decide ligi, then mnaangalia refa kama huyu.
Napenda timu yangu inapiga clean sheet sana, na anyway FC wamejaribu wakang'ang'ana wakapata hiyo bao. Cha muhimu sasa imekuwa ni ushindi Maana mimi nilijua game itakuwa ngumu sana, ni kama tu first leg. Lakini first half ukiangalia mechi hatukuwa tunawakimbiza sana. Hao ndio walikuwa wanakuja kwetu. Ni kama ile ilikuwa tunawangoja. Second half ikifika hivi then tutakuwa tunatoa makali yetu. Na yenyewe second half ukiangalia tumeidominate throughout, tukapata hizo bao mbili kutoka kwa Wasai, bao mbili safi sana. So kongole sana kwa wachezaji wangu.
Now that's where we end our news coverage for now, and of course congratulations to Arsenal, and of course Gor Mahia for winning the titles. I'm told the two teams share a fan base. Nevertheless, my name is Givas Maina. The show continues on the other side with Victor Olo, but before that, a short commercial break.
Sasa hizi ndio zawadi umeniletea.
Kumbe Moshe Ochwangi alituweka katika pili. Kama Sunde ameandikwa nini? Mkubwa ameandika vizuri, tunagawua sisi kwa wili. Wewe unaenda kuongeza mwingine.
Umesikia bununu? Tuna trend. Ni kitu gani unanitafuta mimi?
Huyu mama daya ni mchambuzi.
Milioni 3.
Nilipe pesa zangu.
Wenda hata kama ni kwa chifu.
Utafungwa, ngoja niende polisi. Ole matope kuja bwana. Huko kimeumana. Hebu fikiria environment kama hii. Hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
Jongwon has that quality. I think the reason you like him, or once liked him, is because you see that in him.
You've tried harder than me, and been braver. You've done well, comrade.
Me, brave? I'm just reckless. If I don't see a way out, then I make one. But I never thought I'd end up all alone again.
All right, good morning, welcome back. It's now time for us to get into the discussion. It's 8 minutes past 7 a.m. Just to remind you, it's the 25th day of May 2026. Karibu sana. My name is Victor Olo. All right, so let me get to the discussion straight away. Before then, allow me to introduce my guests already on set. Let me start with Gilbert Awino, who is a lawyer and the Secretary General of Kuprecomp. All right, Gilbert, good morning.
Morning.
Good to see you. And the only lady in the middle in yellow. Why in yellow? SG?
I love yellow. It's one of the colors that from elementary level in our schooling we learn, and it stands out.
Okay.
It's just a color. Don't think too much about it.
No. Not just a color. Catherine Omanyo is the Secretary General of ODM. She's also the woman rep of Busia County. And next to her is Honorable Francis Mwangangi, who is the Deputy Governor of Machakos County. DJ, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
An Arsenal fan, right?
No. I've never.
Baba left us in Arsenal.
Yes. You're not an Arsenal fan?
No. Chelsea.
Chelsea think you're number 10 or something.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
They were not in town yesterday.
And we needed not to. That was their time. Ours is coming.
It's going to take a long time for it to come. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Okay, let's start with the front page of the local dailies. Let me start with the front page of the Star. Taxation jitters rock finance bill. I think Parliament resumes tomorrow, and Mheshimiwa Omanyo, you have a lot to discuss on the floor of the House, if I get it right. State to get target offshore investment, gamblers and Juakali. That's on the front page of the Star newspaper. Taxation jitters rock finance bill. Again, inside PS Kilemi's reform agenda to shake up the coffee and sacco sectors. And finally, Kanja orders reshuffle of Ruto security guards after Kilifi church drama. That is on the front page of the Star newspaper. We'll get into that very shortly. And based on that, Mayo asked the gentleman who was the head of the presidential security detail, that is Mayo. The Standard reports that President William Ruto's security boss, Noah Mayo, has been removed after a man breached the presidential cordon in Kilifi and grabbed the head of state on the podium. The dramatic Ganze incident has also revived concerns over repeated breaches in Nairobi, Mombasa, Migori and Wajir, despite the president being the most heavily protected individual in the country. Security experts warned that the consequences could have been catastrophic had the intruder been armed or suicidal. The incident has now shifted attention to the presidential escort unit as Christians now mount over whether relaxed crowd control protocols reportedly directed by the president are compromising his own safety. That's on the front page of the Standard. And finally, Ruto allies hype vote rigging plots. Ruto allies hype vote rigging plot. That's on the front page of the Daily Nation. IBC officials also assure agency is independent and will ensure every vote counts in 2027. Leaders allied to President William Ruto are boldly touting vote rigging as a strategy to force his re-election, with Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula and Hamisi MP Charles Gemose, the latest to join a growing chorus to ensure the incumbent retains in power at all costs. The utterances have also infuriated opposition leaders who claim that the government is setting the stage for a rigged vote. All right, so that is there. And let me start with you. Gilbert, good morning once again. Based on what you've seen on the front pages of the local dailies, let me start with the most unfortunate one. It was the 5th time that the president was facing the most unfortunate attack, whether stage managed or otherwise, or just that. That was too close.
I like the choice of word you're using, whether stage managed or not. So it points to the cynicism with which every Kenyan treats the information arising from the president's engagement.
Yeah.
But that remains for interpretation as that. My greatest concern is the president really should cease to want to be so loved, so desperate to the extent that they always think that such isolated incidents are a show of love from the citizens. Because I saw how he desperately tried to salvage the boy from the security team. They say, Chana na huyo, leave him alone. Actually, the president looked very helpless in a situation that was actually very, very dire. But on a more serious scale, I would really like to think that I think too much attention towards politics at the expense of the potential risk arising from such things should really be taken seriously. We would be looking at a potentially very catastrophic end, or perhaps occurrence, as a result of what happened in Ganze yesterday. I watched the clip over and over again, and I just imagine, had the gentleman been armed with anything, he would basically have reached for the president in the most vulnerable state he could. So I'm glad that those changes have happened in the police force. But really, beyond that, I think there needs to be professionalism around the president, because look at the names of the people around him. Just consistently look at the names, even the replacements. Just look at the alphabetical order of those names, and it tells you the priority around the president, the security around the president. I'm wondering, where is the aide camp, the gentleman who normally stands behind? Because had he been behind the president, he would have seen and acted much faster than... I haven't seen him of late. I don't know where he has been. On the issue of finance bill and taxation, I see that there is apprehension that the government has come to tax us once again. My biggest concern is that the government is missing out. So it's either left to Mbadi or left to people who are actually not sellable, because medium is usually the message. So I hope that before it comes to Mheshimiwa's table, at least a lot more, those myths around the finance bill will have demystified, but also the facts will also be spoken as they should be. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa, you had a whole month recess, and you have got a lot to discuss when you resume tomorrow, right?
Yep.
But let's start by, first of all, you lost one of your staff last week.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. We're actually sad that sometimes life can be taken just like that. That young man, the wife was in a maternity ward.
Yes.
You know, when you are expecting a baby and somebody calls you and says, my friend, it's you who can protect me. Something is happening in my shop. Kindly rush. Somebody was looting, or a few young men were looting a shop, and he is known to be a person who has some confidence that even sometimes the police don't have. So he rushed there to salvage the friend's shop from being robbed. And I think also at the same time, the guy had called also the police to come and help. So he actually went in the shop and managed to scare the robbers. When they left, he closed the shop himself. So when he was just leaving, somebody shot him from his back, from the back, and he fell right there. Yeah, so I just want to condemn the police brutality. If you shoot somebody from the back, it simply shows that he was not even trying to do anything to confront anybody. He was just doing his thing. So it was mistaken. But why use force? I always know that people who use force are slow in reasoning. Because if robbers have been in a place and you find maybe just one person or two or something, you don't just shoot. You know, and even if you were to shoot, he was unarmed. He could have just arrested him and then now asks, what were you doing at this place? Yeah, so I just want to...
Quite sad about that.
Across the country, police brutality has been too much.
All right. DG, let me also get your opening remarks. This is based on what really happened yesterday. The Standard reports that you have the Standard. It was the 5th time that the president was getting an intruder very close to him. When it comes to that, you can imagine how dangerous it would be. And word has it that, not even word has it, he is the most protected man in Kenya. But this is not something to smile about, however much we look at it.
First, thank you for the invite.
You're welcome,
Secondly, Mheshimiwa Catherine is in yellow. Being the last time I checked, I thought she was the Deputy Secretary General, but now she's a SG of the boat faction of ODM, as the people say out here. But Mheshimiwa, first and foremost, on a serious now note, the Polesana, take courage. From where I sit, losing an officer or losing anybody is not anything to laugh around.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I pray and I wish that our internal security, they get to the bottom of it. But even if they get to the bottom of it, it's not going to come back. So maybe we need more and more training of our security agents, so that because Victor and my colleagues, world is ever changing, and there are new threats every now and then. So maybe the way we managed security threats of yesterday is not the same as today.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the incident of what happened to the head of state. First and foremost, my prayer and my wish is we protect the current head of state at whatever cost, because we want to remove him democratically, not through the bullet or through another means. Talking about that incident, Victor, is a lapse that I think was uncalled for, because the head of state is actually the face of the country.
Yes.
Internationally is the chief ambassador and promoter of this country. At national level, he is the symbol of unity. He's our leader.
Yes.
He's the leader of everybody. So I think what happened yesterday was really uncalled for. But I have to say this. Sometimes, even we as we sit here, those who have an opportunity to enjoy state protection, of which every Kenyan should, sometimes security starts with you. You know, there is this famous spiritual leader, Mother Teresa, who said, do your bit and you allow me to do my bit, so that together we can do great things. Now, if as a political leader I do my work and I allow security agents to do theirs, definitely we will have a success at the end of the exercise we are undertaking. Somehow, removing Maio, a long-serving presidential escort officer, since the times of the second president of the Republic of Kenya, I don't think is a solution. But I think also the escort officers, presidential escort protectors, do their work. They need to be also given space from politicians so that they do their work. Sometimes, Mheshimiwa Catherine, during my tenure in Mbunge, I was one of the frequent guys who used to travel with the then deputy president, now the president. And I know whenever he sees people, he forgets he is a state property. Somehow, at personal level, he needs also to address that bit. Because irrespective of who is brought, he needs also to give them space to do what they need to do. If at some point, end of the, you know, Mheshimiwa Omanya will tell you, and these lawyers here will agree with me, at certain stage, if any of the presidential candidates is eliminated, you know, there will be no general election. So it will be so sad for the country to read news anywhere that our president is armed by someone or something that should have been prevented. And finally, I think, as I've said, there are so many challenges of late, and we know so much. There is a lot of evolving of threats, and I think also even our officers. And I don't say I don't indicate or mean that they are not well trained, but we need to acquaint ourselves with the changing world of criminal activities, either in the country or elsewhere globally. So I think security starts with self.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Amolo Simba is an advocate of the High Court. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Great one. What has been your key highlight, your opening remarks, your key highlight the past 1 or 2 weeks before I get to the substantive discussion?
Okay, thank you so much for the invite. Apologies for being late. So first thing, I think the first thing that the fellow panelists have talked about is the issue of the incident that happened to the president. I think that was really unfortunate because if you look at it, we expect, as my colleagues have said, that the president to be the most protected person. So for such a security breach to happen means there's serious lapse in the security of the president, because if the person had been armed, we'd be talking about a different thing. So I think there needs to be accountability. There needs to, and even people need to know, like even Parliament, relevant authorities need to know what really happened to them, what really caused this. So I think they need to get to the bottom of it. I think also a bit of politics have been charged. I think there were issues of certain remarks that had been, there's been an issue of certain remarks that were made by UDA Secretary General. I believe those ones will get to them later. But I think this need to check our political environment, even as we gear toward the 2027 elections. We've had a difficult past, like in 2007, 2008. We should never let history repeat itself. So I hope that our political environment, the relevant authorities will take charge, whether it's the police, whether we are talking of NCIC, to ensure that at least the politics, to ensure that the political environment, the political hygiene is good here.
Okay.
I think...
Before we take a break, Mishima, in fact, I was actually coming to you. Politically speaking now, is everything okay between UDA and ODM?
Yeah, you've got to learn friends along the way. As you know, a few things can happen that might not be palatable to either side. But as you keep, comparing each other's strength, you learn what the other one likes and what the other one doesn't like. So before we reach a consensus, we are still gauging to see what works best for both. Actually, we said that we will go into partnership, starting with UDA. So there's nothing wrong. People have already skipped ahead of us. We have not even started negotiations.
Yes.
We are still behind the tent, getting proper advice before we go in, because this is something we do not just want to go in for to benefit ourselves. If you see ODM move closer to anything, it is because the people that we fight for every time are not happy with something. And the easiest way or best way of being part of a solution is getting in there.
And when people are not happy, then it means that even the leaders are not happy.
Yes, but how do you then know what is in if you are making noise from outside?
Yes.
So I think what Baba did before he left us was good, to get in there and see how many fruits are in here.
What have you seen, and how? What kind of fruits have you seen from inside there?
Kenya has potential to grow. The only hitch was discrimination, and devolution came in for a reason, to make sure that every region in Kenya is at par in growth, in development, and if there's anything for Kenyans through the counties, every Kenyan gets. So by us saying, let us try and see how fair, how everything will be distributed.
Yes.
It's just defending devolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gilbert.
Yeah, I don't have good news for SG for the following reasons. One is that their dalliance with UDA. UDA is a party that represents everything that ODM did not stand for. This is the party that stood for demonstrations, that every gains that we have had in this country have come from demonstrations that were led by Raila Amolo Odinga. In this, to date, even when you are picketing about, rain not coming, you will be shot on the streets, because for UDA, any demonstration is a sign of, you might lose the grip of power. But on a greater scale, I really wish that they did their negotiation with the UDA in a much better and in a more beneficial structure. Because as it is, yes, the coalition between them has given developments. Tingatinga zinanguruma in their area. Even Queen, I'm sure now there are many caterpillars doing the job. Fine. But at the end of the day, ODM is behaving like a girl who would like to be married, but even before you say come home, ashabeba mizigo, amekuja kwenu, amesema mimi nimekuja kuishi. In fact, we'll go look for another one because but wait, I finish. So wait, I finish. So after 2027, unless you negotiate with UDA in a manner that will make them respect you and feel that you are an equal stakeholder, the songs the party honchos continue to praise UDA for, ultimately once the bridge to 2027 is crossed, I'm telling you, you guys mtaona moto. So unless you change your political messaging and the climate around your interaction, things
Victor,
might not be very nice.
Let me correct my dear friend here.
So there's a lady who's come at her before invite.
No, wait.
Let's welcome her with tea. Let's welcome that lady with some tea.
You cannot trap a bird that is watching. You know, he's underestimating who is negotiating, who will be on the table to negotiate. So I do not understand which girl has already said yes.
It's ODM has already said yes.
Why have we not yet started the negotiations?
Oh, you're the one.
Because
let's take a break. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. You'll tell us whether you're the one or not. Because word has it again that much we are seeing the splinter in ODM, UDA remains quiet. There is no fight amongst themselves. It is only ODM which has a problem. Why? Let's talk about that when you come back. All right, stay with us.
In a world where news is ever-changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Jina! Aki watoto wa siku hizi wakiwa wanasumbua. Usikose kuona Gundu KBC Channel 1 every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Ujionee hivi vituko vya watoto wa siku hizi wanaosumbua wazazi na mengine mengi. Keep it Gundu. Jina!
Wananiita Gundu, wakita wengine wata.
All right. Okay, welcome back. So the lady has been given a cup of tea officially. She's been welcomed. Okay, so let's come back. I asked a question, Mheshimiwa Omanyo, so that you can also set the pace for us. Whatever we are trying to see as the instability that we are seeing in ODM, we don't see the same on the other side of UDA. Why?
Because we lost Baba. And when we lost Baba, there are people who didn't know how to behave. They even don't know up to date how to carry themselves onwards. There are people who see that without Baba, maybe we won't manage. And it is normal when you lose such a luminary, an enigma. Baba, if you lose such a person, for these changes to happen.
Yes.
And some of us are healing faster. Some are still jittery, some are still not trusting anybody who holds the mantle today. But whoever we have today, Dr. Oburu, is who we have as party leader. They either like him or not, but the party must move on from the loss, pick whatever has remained, and pull ourselves together for the benefit of this country. Because it is ODM that puts people first since the time of Adam and Eve. So I want people not to continue holding on this perception that we are not yet there. It is so normal in ODM to have jitters. Even when Baba was there, we used to be so loud, and we would have our infights in the party.
But it was not as loud as this. Whatever is happening is quite glaring. Look at what's happening between Governor Gladys Wanga and Governor James Orengo.
Orengo is just badly cultured. We have a deputy governor here who works with a lady, a governor, who has no problem with that. But Orengo is the one who is having problems. Let him keep drooling his eyes on Gladys Wanga.
Who started the fight?
Let me finish. Orengo is that kind of a man who dresses so smart and speaks eloquently, articulates issues, big English. Many people mistake that for civilization. He is not. He's so remote. He's still in the evolution stage of Neanderthals, where they looked women as objects and objectifies all women. You know, when he attacks Gladys like that and goes that petty, he's the one who is petty. So I just want to tell him again today to stop fighting Gladys. If he fights Gladys, he's fighting all the women in Kenya. And women have capability of even running this country if he does not know. So he should just accept in advance that Gladys is smarter than him and is ahead of him, and she is the girl that he should keep watching.
Okay.
So let me also let all Kenyans know that no nation in Africa and no nation even in the developed world can develop and reach where they want by leaving half the talent, the skills, know-how behind. Women multitask because they are good at everything.
Thank you.
So let him not look at Gladys using a skirt.
Okay.
Victor, I don't
DJ, let me come to DJ a little bit. DJ, you've heard what I said, but you've also worked with, Honorable Raila Odinga, you've been with him and all that, Kalonzo Musyoka, but we've never seen such kind of instability we are seeing right now. When we hear such kind of, condemnation from SG here, it shows that all is not well.
True. First and foremost, although I'm now realizing she's a lady, but I see her as a leader.
Thank you.
Not as a lady. My boss, Governor Wavinya Ndeti, I don't say for the name and everything else. What she wears, I look at her as a leader.
Amen.
And a capable one, for that matter. So, I think, I don't know what could have happened to a leader I've known for many years, James Orengo, but the sentiments, a section of his sentiments, I don't agree with them. I think it is high time we respect each other. We work, we support each other. I don't think they are called for. There are upcoming leaders, the young ones, the youth, who are looking up to some of these leaders. By the way, where I am within the devolution space, we have had the Council of Governors chair, who was a leader, Madam Anna Winguru, and she did a super job. Actually, she served 2 terms, if my mind is correct. And she did well. Nobody complained. She pushed the devolution agenda. In fact, even more than the another leadership that has ever existed. So, personally, the leaders and the female leaders in this country, they need to continue executing their mandates without thinking whether they are ladies or what. Even in corporate world, look at Isuzu, East Africa. It's headed by a lady. She's moving that company to a global entity. Look at East African breweries. It's headed by a lady, and others who are doing very good job. So it is not. It is not in political.
And even here, KBC is.
So I can tell you, they have what it takes, and they can do much better than most of us. Now, that said, it is not reason enough to also, whenever they don't do things right, they hide somewhere that I'm being fought simply because I'm a lady. Let's also, Mheshimiwa, with due respect, also call out a few who have not done what is expected of them. Now, to the question of ODM, I think there is the vision bearer, who is the party leader. And that party leader was a very strong and focused leader. First and foremost, when Mheshimiwa says some are still mourning, I tend to agree with her. But when you see what happened after the late Prime Minister and our leader, by the way, he died as our leader. It is them who are their wing that has been purchased by that group. That is.
We withdraw that statement. No one has been purchased, and no one can afford me.
So you see, it is that group now which is not carrying on that vision. ODM was known for fairness. ODM was known to promote devolution in this country. ODM, we knew, was known to fight for democracy and social democracy for that matter. ODM was known for everything which today is opposite of what their partners are doing. ODM was known to fight against corruption. They are joining a team that is known to entertain corruption. That is that is what they do morning and evening. So I think there's a spirit of their leader in the other group, which I think they need to sit and reason out. They need to listen to this other group, because it appears it has the inspiration of the masses who used to follow the late leader Raila Odinga. Now, there is something else which maybe as the madam here, Deputy SG, and the ODM family need to be keen on. As much as they are fighting differently, their partner is advancing and even identifying candidates to run against them in their areas. Okay? And by the time they realize ODM might not be anymore, it is something that I'm offering for free to them, because they were our partners. We worked for many years, almost 20 years, supporting their leader and our leader. By then, we viewed him as our Pan-Africanist and a leader who could transform this country if given chance. But now, they are teaming up with the people who promised to take them to Bondo and have him there. And he is still there, and they succeeded. And when you look at many Kenyans and many ODM supporters, of which some of them are very close to me. Yes. I worked closely with many of them. I'm saying, wait a minute, what are these people up to? Even look at the way SG here, if she wants to be very honest, she will tell the country the sources, because unless the legal ODM Secretary General goes and signs something somewhere for money to come out.
I am the legal Secretary General seated here. And I want to correct you.
Just a minute.
Victor, allow me to correct him before he finishes.
You see, Victor, when you look at even how the state treats a wing within ODM and a wing still within the same party, it's not the same. Some are being tear-gassed left, right. Others are being protected.
Victor,
there is no fairness at all.
Give me just 1 minute to correct him. We do not have
I want to bring in Wakili.
No, wait, before Wakili says anything. We do not have 2 oranges or half orange. We just have 1 orange. 2, we are in government to push government to perform to a deadline. Baba left 10-point agenda, and I'm happy that some of these points, like now, for example, compensating people who lost their lives or maybe got handicapped or got displaced during Mandamano time, something has happened. We put in supplementary budget to compensate. That is one, if you didn't know. Isn't that fighting for the vulnerable? Secondly, devolution. We have keyed in some more money to go into counties. So it will be upon Wananchi to put their governors on toes, because that money has been brought closer to them, to develop them, to unlock jobs. Whatever the governors will now do with their people, we have already done that. And Baba actually said we must, ODM is the defender of devolution. And that is what we are looking. Now, something else. Picketing. People, Article 37, most of the time it wasn't really looked into. But people are now going to rallies or do their own events without trouble, unless looters come in to spoil it. If people didn't take
I'll still come back to you, Mheshimiwa. You say that ODM is one.
It is one.
I'm equally confused.
Why are you confused? And you know very well that we have rebellious faction. A faction of a few rebellious people who assume that they have what it takes to do what Baba used to do. They can't. Baba was very forgiving. Baba was also reaching out even to his worst enemy. Two type of a student is this that does not even look at how Baba reached out and worked with his worst enemies.
Wakili, whether it is an early strategy or not, what can you read?
I think that first, what we need to acknowledge, most of political parties in Kenya revolve around personalities. The thing is, ODM is a great party. Baba built a great party, but most of the people who are following ODM were following it because of Baba. If Baba moved from ODM and formed a different party, that the party that would be big. Yes. So it's unlike, let's say, South Africa, where you have ANC, which has been there for so many years. We have had great leaders going, and still the party remains. And that's a problem across all parties in Kenya. Even today, UDA is Ruto and Ruto is UDA. If you were to leave UDA, it would cease to exist. Unfortunately, Baba left us, and yes. So I think that the truth of the matter is that many people followed because of the ideals of Baba. I'm not sure whether like all the factions or those who are still there, like the current leadership, really carried those ideals that made people follow Baba. My thinking is that if they want to still remain relevant, what they need is to align with the people. Like, what is it that Baba's followers, what is it that Baba's followers aligned with? Yes. And be able to reach out to them. ODM needs to distinguish itself is to survive and need to reinvent itself. The truth of the matter is that it will not be the same ODM that was there when Baba was alive. It's going to be a split, going to be factions, yes. And it has happened with every other party, even Ford Kenya after Jaramogi died. You had the Raila faction, you had Wamalo faction. Eventually Raila left for NDP, but Ford Kenya didn't remain the same. So the thing is, it's a fact that there's a split in ODM. If the Linda Ground team, which Mheshimiwa here is part of, if they want to really negotiate from a point of strength, they really need to, in terms of build themselves, rather than deluding themselves that they have the party. Because yes, you could have the party name, you could have, you could be occupying the office, but do you have the following? I think there's still a number of ODM followers who still feel they don't relate to let's say the Linda Ground here, and they have certain grievances against the government, and due to that, they may be associating with the Linda Wananchi team. So it is up to whatever faction, like, to ensure that how they align with the ideals of the supporters. Yes. Otherwise, you may have a party without the supporters. Yeah.
Victor, I want you to point out something, please. You know why IPA cannot survive without ODM? That's why they are clinging on a faction they think is ODM.
What do you mean?
Yes,
but
we worked with them.
You left.
We were in Azimio. We have
Mheshimiwa, are they still together with you?
No. We are not.
Okay.
They are on their own, but they are clinging on a faction they think they are still in ODM. They even have come up with the SG of Azimio so that they can still survive. And that's why he is pleading indirectly.
But they're still surviving. Probably you are drowning and
they cannot survive without ODM.
Let me bring in Gilbert. You know what's something?
Yeah.
When you also comment on that, DJ said something that ODM probably is burying, it's like that ostrich.
Yeah.
By the time they'll be waking up,
yeah,
the train itakuwa imefika Voi or something.
And nothing could be further from the truth. Before I get to that, I just would want to rebuttal, but emphasize what DG has said, that a leader is a leader irrespective of the agenda. We have seen a situation where a leader misbehaves, particularly on the fair agenda. Once they have misbehaved, then they retreat to the female card. All the people, great leaders, great ladies who have been mentioned in leadership, nothing defines them more than just being a good leader. The governor of Homa Bay, vis-a-vis what Orengo says, let's be fair to Orengo. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. The governor for Homa Bay is legendary for politics below the belt. And she calls herself the male version of a lion, a lioness, and uses all manner, in mother tongue, maybe if you understood, you'd understand where it actually came from. And when Orengo rebuts, then now it is as women. I think good manners remain good manners irrespective of what the gender is.
Do you have good manners?
I'm not a party. We are talking of ODM vis-a-vis.
Under what context?
There is lots of context. context appropriate.
As a leader,
yeah.
even if you wanted to abuse me,
yeah.
you don't use some of those narrations.
Like
there are
which
other
one?
words you can use.
We have just replayed what your leaders say. Now, on the question of, is ODM burying its head in the sand? Yes, ODM is burying its head in the sand for this reason. The very ideals that they stand for, or they claim to have stood for, are the ideals that they're the first people to break. Mohesh here has just said that while Baba was there, Baba entertained dissent, they were allowed to speak their minds, and they could disagree, and Baba was very forgiving. When it is them, you dissent once, they chase you away. And that has consistently been the character that has been eroding the quality of ODM. I wish they were more persuasive with the people who have gone away in the spirit of tolerance, so that ODM remains a strong party. As it is, even her today, if she said anything contrary to what the party won, you will be chased.
The role of SG.
You will be chased, and another
I'm the spokesperson of the party.
They will not say like,
we don't say this in the morning, and the SG says that in the evening.
So I just would like to perhaps remind them that you really lose nothing by trying to, extend a hand to people you perceive as enemies. And Ruto does it the best. Anyone who calls him names, every night he's calling it, even by bagging ODM, he's actually just trying to reach out to enemy. But the ODM themselves are busy cannibalizing themselves in the spirit of building the party. I think that is within your power to do to make it.
No, Victor, he does not know what goes on in ODM.
What's going on?
We have had so many people.
Tell him
yes,
what's going on.
He needs to know.
Tell him.
So many times, anyone, not just whoever he's talking about. So many times, even when Baba was there, if anybody went astray, they were disciplined. And they listened. Even some of them were fined good money, and they paid for misbehaving. So and they respected. What is so different today that if somebody, for example, my brother, he was called, they sat, people have been talking up to date. In the morning, we just hear that, it is well. At least they have sat with the party leader. Now things are going to be okay. At night, Prime News, he's discussing contrary, completely annoyingly bad. He's busy now punching everybody below the belt. Then we are like, now what do we do from here? So we have been encouraging him to continue, hoping that he will realize that he's on the wrong and retrieves.
Are you
but
happy?
Unfortunately,
are you happy? Excuse me. Are you happy wherever you are as ODM? You say there's no split. Are you happy?
I told you cannot trap a bird that is watching. There's nothing, even what the deputy governor has said, that we do not know. We know, and we have put how can you solve what you don't know? You put down what actually is itching you, what is eating you, what is a threat, everything you analyze.
In layman's language?
Then,
in layman's language?
Gradually, we will shock everybody. We are good.
Okay.
The party is okay.
Victor, and Tame, the one orange, the one section of orange is SG. Tame and tell her there is everything good in listening. Don't to interject every now and then, please.
Because when you lie,
now there is something I want to say. Victor, the current ODM is not the former. In terms of ideals, in terms of what the world knew ODM for. In the opening here, all of us here, we started by condoling with an aide to Mheshimiwa here, who died as a result of a bullet that was supposed to be protecting him. That is not what ODM stood for. And they are quiet. Victor, I think Kenyans are not the way they were yesterday. There are very many sources of information, and they can see what is happening. Let me tell you, the voters who are Kenyans will severely punish some of us come the next election because of deviating from the reasons why we got those positions. What do I mean? When you run away to go in bed to with people who are known to be corrupt, and you don't comment. If you go into bed with an administration that is so intolerant, just like a section of ODM that is chasing everybody away. They did not learn from Kanu. Kanu and the second president of the Republic of Kenya were known to chase people away, only for them to come back and be united way back 2002 and vanquished Kanu. They did not learn anything. They are joining an intolerant group just like they are. On the other side, the partners they are, and I'm repeating this, the partners they are joining is not one who is coming with clean hands to the table. Is one whom you have heard their section of ODM advocating for somebody to be removed or transferred from a certain docket because he's planting candidates on behalf of Uda, their partner, everywhere, against them. You know, and they are not seeing all these optics.
It's democracy.
So in this case, the current ODM is not the ODM we knew. Now, since the Secretary General of the ODM we know is not here, I will not discuss him. But my wish,
here. Talk about me.
But my prayer, even if she is the one, is for the ODM to be one, because a strong ODM is good for the governance, is good for the democracy, is good for the development of the country.
I have a question for you.
Now, it is not true. Wiper is clinging on ODM and that we cannot survive without ODM. That is not the truth. We have since moved on, and we have since started building networks. Whether that network will lead to them even coming back, it will not matter, but we have since moved on. The only thing is Raila Odinga was our leader, whom we supported for a long time. We are also part and parcel of his legacy. These people they are trying to quote are the ones who tried to kill that legacy.
So what if they come back?
No. We work and we move forward.
All right.
We will work together.
I see what you're trying
But
to
if he disses us,
Victor,
I will diss more.
I quote an American called Martin Luther King.
Yes.
He said, "Be keen. We either remain together, united, and will prosper, or perish together as fools."
Okay. We have a live function in Kisumu, and I want to cut it short. You know what I mean. Wakili, just 1 minute. What if they pulled out of UDA?
What if ODM pulled out of UDA? I think that today ODM, they're at a disadvantage, the leader ground team, because they already got into the UDA. They already pledged allegiance. So if they were to pull out today, where are they going to? So my thinking is that maybe what they need is to ensure they could be right now in the arrangement, but their negotiation power will depend on what they bring to the table. Because politics isn't a love affair. It's a matter of what is it that you're bringing to the table. So if they don't have the numbers, however much they're going to negotiate post-2027, if let's say Ruto gets elected, they will barely get anything if they don't bring the numbers. What I would advise them, focus on building their brand. Then come 2027, they can negotiate from a point of strength. If they don't build their brand, like today we still have Kanu, and they but who will negotiate with Kanu? Because it is barely it's their name, but does not have supporters. So
allow me to take a break. We have a live function in Kisumu, so we need to cross over there. Time is just up. Time is just up. 1 hour is gone just like that.
Crossfire.
1 hour is just short like that.
1 minute.
Director says no.
Director.
You know. So, Florence Mwangangi, thank you so much. And yes, Mheshimiwa Catherine Omanyo said that you work so well with your boss.
He does.
That's a compliment. That's a
It's only that they need to learn from us how we solve in case of anything.
Yeah, and Catherine Omanyo is the woman rep, Busia County.
And SG.
And SG. Deputy Governor does want to hear that. Gilbert Aveno, asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Keep doing what you're doing, and Wakili Simba Amolo. Thank you so much. We only had 1 hour. We'll do more again next time we have enough time.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Jong has that quality. I think the reason you like him, or once liked him, is because you see that in him.
You've tried harder than me and been braver. You've done well, comrade.
Me, brave? I'm just reckless. If I don't see a way out, then I make one. But I never thought I'd end up all alone again.
To many of us, it's just known as the Archives. It's one of the most well-known landmarks and meeting place in Nairobi's Central Business District. But a historical building in its own right, a national treasure. Not much is known of the National Archives. Not its history, nor its functions. Not even the priceless surprise it holds inside. The Kenya's and Pan-African treasures, and a vast gallery displaying both national and continental artifacts, with some so rare they're found nowhere else. In this mini-feature series, we will open your eyes to what you've been probably missing, and you never knew all this while. Give you an inner glimpse of the famous yet unassuming building in the city, and some of the national treasures it holds inside for all of us to see. The Kenya National Archives and Documentation Services is an archival central and a home to a wealth of cultures and invaluable history on display for all to experience. A time capsule right in the heart of the Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Meet Mary Ann Wanyonyi, the Deputy Director at the National Archives. She shares her great insights on the history of this colossal structure and its genesis.
Kenya National Archives, for the public and the majority, have always been coming as a monument, a place for meeting. A majority of, you're talking about your audience, if you ask them, they'll be telling you like a landmark, let us meet at archives. But they have never known what is this archives, what are some of the things that are at the archives. So yes, let me demystify some things. One, this building that houses now the Kenya National Archives was built in 1928. It was initially the Bank of India. It started operations during those 1930s, but it was built in 1928. So Kenya Commercial Bank bought then the building in 1970. This is why behind the Kenya National Archives there's a matatu stage that is called commercial, because KCB was housed at Kenya National Archives. So then from 1970 to 1978, the government bought this property and then relocated Kenya National Archives from Jogo House basement to come and occupy Kenya National Archives. So officially Kenya National Archives began operations in this building in the 80s, 1980 to 82.
According to the deputy director, most artworks and artifacts found here at the National Archives are credited to Joseph Murumbi, Kenya's second vice president, who was not only a great enthusiast of African culture and its way of life, but also a collector of artifacts. Some of them are as a result of generous donations from collaborations with other countries.
Some of the galleries, that the artifacts that you have seen have been donated as gifts. They were given to him as gifts. And then he decided to preserve them at the Kenya National Archives, but not all. So because you have seen different cultures in Africa, not just specifically Kenya, you have seen things from Nigeria. They were given as gifts to him. So we are preserving culture cutting across in Africa.
The Kenya National Archives serves several key mandates and functions. These attributes have not only served us, the public, but also our government. In addition, foreign researchers who are keen to learn a thing or two about the Kenyan and African history, as well as her people, culture, and way of life, often come here.
After independence, 1965, there's an act that was passed in Parliament, the Public Archives Act, which established now two things. One, the office of the director, Kenya National Archives. Then two, functions and mandate of the Kenya National Archives. So after the act in 1965, which established the Kenya National Archives, 1990, the government added another mandate to the Kenya National Archives. That is why it is called Kenya National Archives and Documentation Service. So the documentation service was added as a function to us in 1990. At the Kenya National Archives, some of the functions that we normally do is not only allowing people to be able to look at their lineage and find, trace their family history. We are mandated by law, one, to go outside and advise on proper public records management. Then two, we are mandated as well to acquire and preserve archives for posterity and also to make it available.
Some of the biggest achievements made by the Kenya National Archives include the brokerage of peace between Kenya and Somalia over the border strip, the acquisition of post-colonial records from the UK government, and solving land disputes, among many more.
The government pursued our migrated archives, and they were brought in this year in June, 9.1 terabytes of them, 2,665 records of volumes of records that were brought here. So yeah, partnership with the UK pursuing our records and bringing them back is an achievement for us. We have also been used by, not by government alone, to broker peace. During the Kibaki era, Somalia had a problem with us. The only persons that brokered that issue, seized the fire, was Kenya National Archives, because we produced records to show clear boundaries between Kenya and Somalia. So Somalia remained with their own, we remained with our own. We have partnered with the criminal investigations, police. They all come here for records so that they can be able to solve court cases and deal with the matters to do with criminal cases and land issues. So all of those records, you can access them here.
The Kenya National Archives is indeed a trailblazer in the preservation of the Kenyan culture and its people's history for posterity.
Having an art gallery also is a means of preserving our culture, because some of those artifacts speak about our culture. For example, the pots, the significance of those pots as per different tribes of the Republic.
And in the famous words of Marcus Garvey, a people without knowledge of their past history, origin and culture is like a tree without roots.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe, and we are glad that you're still watching KBC Channel 1. Now, on to other matters regarding the East African Broadcasters Convention that is slated for the 26th to 28th of May and is organized by the Association of Professional Broadcasters in collaboration with the Broadcast Media Africa, Media Council of Kenya, and other regional partners. Now, the theme of this convention is reimagining the next. Artificial intelligence, cloud, and the future of broadcast media in Africa. That is what I want us to focus on, and for that conversation I'm joined by Tabitha Mutemi, OGW. She is the chairperson, Association of Professional Broadcasters. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
And also Nonku Mkize, who is from the Broadcast Media Africa, Department of the Editorial and Product Development. Karibu sana.
Karibu sana. I hope I said that right.
You say asante.
Asante, right.
Let's get into this conversation. And Tabitha, I want to start with you. You know, the theme itself, reimagining the next. You look at the broadcasting industry within the African continent. One can say it's at a major turning point. The audiences are moving from, they are gravitating towards digital platforms, on-demand content, and also tech is reshaping how stories are being produced, distributed, and consumed. Now, when we talk about reimagining the next, what exactly should African broadcasters reimagine?
Thank you very much. First, I would like to welcome you to the East Africa Broadcasters Convention, which starts tomorrow, 26th, up to 28th of May, which is Thursday. The theme is very well thought of. Mm-hmm. It's just reimagining the next level of broadcast in the AI era, about artificial intelligence, about cloud technology, reimagining broadcast without the traditional studios like these ones, reimagining broadcast without the ordinary transmission systems. The conversations are going to be around how do we protect ethics while embracing this technology? How do we use AI responsibly as broadcasters? How do broadcasters remain credible in the era of misinformation? In fact, in the next level, you may not even have human announcers and presenters. You may have robots. So it's reimagining all that and having a conversation where we bring everyone on board, because technology has no borders. So we have regulators there. We have leading broadcasters. We have even solution providers. We have broadcast infrastructure providers, policymakers, everybody having this discussion and just reimagining the next level of broadcast.
Very important. Nonku, you know, the need for transformation in broadcasting. What should concern broadcasters more? Is it moving too slowly or being left behind with regard to the technology that you're talking about, moving too quickly without fully understanding the consequences? What should concern the broadcasters more?
100%. I think what should concern broadcasters the most is that everyone now is a content creator.
Yes.
With AI, I can create content at the comfort of my own home. So broadcasters are not the only ones that have the ability now to not distribute content on their own, but also we have these other platforms that enable us to distribute content. So as broadcasters, what they need to be concerned about is how do they ensure that the content is more ethical, that is put out. With the new age and AI, there's a lot of misinformation. So broadcasters need to ensure that the information is creditable, and that is what AI will enable broadcasters in the sense.
Tabitha, you know, when you look at journalism, basically it depends on, you know, human judgment, editorial oversight, public trust. But on the other hand, AI is promising speed and efficiency. As media houses adapt these technologies, should fundamentally be left to human judgment?
I agree with you. Technology is here to make things faster. But there are things that AI cannot do for us. It cannot build relationships. Yeah, there is still that human judgment. There is also verification. Yeah, broadcasters have to verify whether this information is authentic and whether this information is real. In this era of misinformation, we also need the broadcasters, that human touch. Yeah, even generation of ideas. Yeah, you have to generate your ideas. So technology is helping us move things faster, but the human aspect is still there. So the broadcasters need to understand the technology and re-engineer or reinvent themselves in the era of AI.
In other words, is to just use technology to augment what is already being done within journalism space.
Exactly.
Now, you know, I'm asking this, Nonku, because AI raises difficult questions, especially when it comes to editorial credibility.
100%.
Now, newsrooms are dealing with issues of sometimes misinformation. We are dealing with cases of AI-generated audios, AI-generated videos. But how do you see that affecting trust? Because when you talk about trust, it's the biggest currency within the media landscape.
100%.
Yes.
I think, again, just to add to what Ms. Tabita had said, is that it's that human element that is required within the broadcasting industry, as well as within the newsroom sector. We can't take that away. And also, with content being created at a large speed, you know, and being distributed in that manner, it is very important for us to fact check, you know, where is the source coming from and how creditable is it before we put it out to our platform. And that is what proper journalism is. You know, that human element cannot be taken away from what journalism is today. Yeah.
And Tabitha, still, yes, we are living in the age of AI. It's rising fast. It's here to stay. And it's being integrated into various media operations. But beyond the excitement around it, are there practical challenges it can realistically solve for African broadcasters?
Yes. We are still in the era of misinformation, disinformation, deep fakes. So that affects. And also the technology changes very fast. And what is affecting the challenges that we have in Kenya are the same challenges that are all over Africa and beyond. Yeah. So we need to collaborate. Collaboration is no longer an option. It's essential. So we need to collaborate, and that is why we have this convention, so that we can come together, have discussions about how AI, how cloud technology is affecting us, and what we need to prepare ourselves for even the fast changing technology. That is why we have this conversation.
Yeah.
So we bring everyone on board, because it is not an option. You have to collaborate.
Yes.
And it's not just technology alone is not enough. Yeah, we still need that heritage, that strong institutional legacy, while we embrace technology. And that is why we are also very excited to collaborate with the national broadcaster. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is the national official media partner for the convention.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, when you look at the competition amongst broadcasters today, it's not confined to TV and radio stations now. The traditional media is competing with streaming platforms, social media creators, and even algorithms that are shaping how the audience attention changes. What do you see as the single most biggest disruption that African broadcasters have to face?
Oh, the single most one. I think we can count quite a few, because but again, it goes back to the single most disruptor right now is that content can be shared at people's fingertips.
Yes.
You know, with social media being at our disposal, information is spread, content is created, and that is distributed at a wider range. And that is the biggest disruptor for broadcasters in this point in time. Content is created within, seconds and distributed. So if broadcasters can focus more on the content that they put out, how can that attract the younger generation to sort of be glued to their station or to their platform? I think that is that transition that we need to sort of come together as broadcasters within this convention to say that how do we attract the audience, the younger audience that is now, going into the spaces and creating that content.
Yeah, because when you look at how they consume media is not the way we used to consume
100%.
Back in the day when internet was not as prevalent. But Tabitha, you look at the broadcast distribution within Africa. It has relied for a long time. Satellite has been the backbone of it. But now the conversation is moving from traditional capacity to have a more integrated, flexible digital ecosystem. Now, how should satellite providers and broadcasters rethink this relationship? If at all, everybody has to be included and make satellite more cost-efficient, adaptable, and future-ready.
That's why I said we broadcast, the future of broadcast, I agree, is AI, cloud technology. But that is not enough. We also need strong institutional legacy.
Yes.
But let me say that this rapid transformation is undergoing broadcast globally, not just in Kenya or Africa. And Africa, we should not just remain, consumers of this technology and also global content. We must create our own content. We must own our own content. We must distribute our own content and also monetize our own content. Yeah. So I think it is important to have these conversations because, as I said earlier, regulators or the government cannot do this alone. That is why we need to come together with also broadcast infrastructure, providers, solution providers, policy makers, and also leading broadcasters to have these conversations because we can't just do it alone. Yeah.
And looking at where we are, Nonku, when you look at broadcasters, are they leading the technological change, or there's a struggle to keep pace with it?
They're certainly chasing after it.
It's moving faster.
It's moving faster than they can catch up to it. And I think just to add to what Ms. Tabitha was saying about, cloud broadcasting in a sense, I just think that cloud solutions can help African broadcasters reduce their infrastructural cost and expand, expand reach. I think it will open opportunities for smaller broadcasters in that sense to sort of be, and independent creators to compete more effectively. I think that the space is sort of closed up in a sense, so we need to ensure that younger creators can also come into that space and create and also be broadcasters. And I think that's why cloud solutions are there. But also just to go back to your questions, to say that I think with the current speed of technology, I think, an equilibrium where, broadcasters and the technology sort of merge at some point in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, Tabitha, as these AI tools are being adopted across newsrooms, but, questions around responsibility become very critical, especially in that regard. If AI-generated content contains bias, misinformation, or factual inaccuracies, where should accountability tests rest? Who should take the accountability, or where should that accountability test be at? Where should we focus on?
I think it is important to understand and have discussions around the public trust when it comes to, and accountability when it comes to use of AI you know, and the digital platforms. And this convention is bringing on board content creators and, you know, new tools and technologies to create content. We'll have those discussions. The young broadcasters will meet heritage, and one of the things that and the essence of the Association of Professional Broadcasters is to promote professionalism and ethical broadcasting, and also to add a voice in advocating for ethical broadcast, because that is why it is important to the young broadcasters to understand about heritage. You know, KBC is the pillar of broadcasting, in not just in Kenya, but in East Africa. In fact, most of the renowned names were nurtured and inspired by Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And these names would be known, and they are still known across Africa, across East Africa, not just in Kenya.
Yes.
So today when I ask my daughter, who is about 20 years old, she does not even know some of the radio presenters and TV presenters, because that has been replaced by the digital platforms and social media, you know. So we need to have this conversation and understand how we are going to be relevant, you know, in the future as broadcasters. This is a forum where we are giving the young creatives and content creators opportunity to learn skills that, you know, were built over years by veteran broadcasters. And also, the young broadcasters are already here with us. They are very central in broadcasting as we speak. They are the influencers. In fact, some of these young, we are calling young creative content. So when you want to actually communicate your message, today you cannot ignore the young content creators or the young broadcasters for that matter. So it is important that the young and the old meet and discuss, you know, the future, because you cannot talk about the future and ignore the past. Yeah. So, and also it's a forum for mentoring, a forum for networking, a forum for them even to create partnerships and collaborate, you know, with top broadcast leading, you know, technologists and solution providers and also content creators. So to me it is important that we embrace each other. Yeah. We embrace each other, the early broadcasters and the new broadcasters. Yeah. And also we understand about the legacy broadcast and also the new technology. Yeah.
It also helps in making sure that regulations are followed properly.
Yes, and actually one of the things and one of the roles that the Association of Professional Broadcasters plays is advocacy, because we need policies that are going to encourage innovation. We need policies that are going to encourage local content and also ethical broadcasting as well. Yeah, and also protection of personal, you know, material.
Yes.
Yeah. That is, and data protection and all that. We need to have those conversations and also work together with the government and regulators to encourage policies that are going to make this industry thrive as we move deeper into AI.
That is very important. Nonku, I had a question about cloud technology and how it's, because it's changing how broadcasters, they store, produce and distribute content, and maybe it's potentially reducing reliance on expensive infrastructure.
Yes.
And also now bringing flexibility in operation. But then again, how prepared is Africa's broadcasting to embrace this shift?
How prepared is our African broadcasters? I think at this current trajectory, it's all dependent on the cost effect to it. You know, how deep are your pockets, so to speak? How deep are your pockets so that you can invest in such? You know, when broadcasters are in the room and you have Ms. Tabitha, who is a senior broadcaster, and
Yes.
myself, who's more junior, there's always that friction.
Yes.
There's always that friction to say that, okay, you want to do things a certain way, but you know, we are now in this technological era, and we want to do things faster and more efficiently, and technology and cloud are providing that for us. And it always goes down to how are you willing to invest in those things. So the biggest contestant right now is investment in that infrastructure. And once that investment is put forth,
Yes.
it will make everything very much seamless.
Yes. And one argument, Tabitha, about cloud tech is that it lowers barriers to entry and creates opportunities even for small players within the media landscape. But then again, this is something that now we are exploring further. But when you look at it, could this create opportunities for smaller players and independent creators, and even maybe in a way democratize the media landscape in Africa?
You know, when we talk of cloud technology, you know how we used to store information?
Yes.
Yeah, on CDs.
Yes, DVDs.
On DVDs, on USB, on hard
Even
drives.
tapes.
Even tapes, yes. I actually stored...
That's like a foreign language to me.
Yeah, but today you are able to free your gadget using iCloud, you know. You have WhatsApp backup. Yeah, you are able to access and retrieve your information very fast when you lose your phone or when you lose your laptop. You can still be able to access your data, your information. I think it's about storing information somewhere in some server, in some country.
Yes.
Yeah, so that technology is here with us. So you don't have to use, I remember those days we used to have very big hard drives just in the office where you store your information. But technology, cloud technology is here with us. We have Google Drives. Yeah. You know, so I think it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing, and we need to embrace it. And those are also, we have such experts that are going to be there. It's not just about academic discussions.
Yes.
Yeah, the conversation is not about that. This is a platform for ideas. This is a platform for innovation. This is a platform to network. This is a platform to learn.
Yes.
And this is a platform for mentorship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as Association of Professional Broadcasters, you know, you have been there. You have witnessed Kenya's broadcasting journey. Looking ahead, are there lessons that should guide the media industry as we enter the AI era?
A lot of lessons should guide us. And even before I go there, I just want to say that, like the Association of Professional Broadcasters, our vision is a timeless professional broadcast for all.
Yes.
Yeah, and our core values are actually around the gadgets that we've used. For example, radio, R for resilience, TV, timelessness, V for visionary. And we embracing the legacy media and the new technology, where we have B, which is broadcasting, for balance, and D, digital, for diligence. Yeah, so those are the core values that drive us. And there is coming back to your question, there is a lot of things to learn about heritage, about ethical broadcasting, even as we embrace this technology, about being fast, because technology is being fast, so we have to think fast, and catch up with the technology, about reinventing and re-engineering ourselves, otherwise we will remain irrelevant in the industry, and about knowing that there is even broadcasting houses today. If, for example, there is a big event, you no longer want to be on your own. You have to collaborate with others. Broadcasters today share content. A media house will go and maybe take coverage and share that content. We never used to have that before. So collaboration is everywhere. You can't do it alone. And today, For example, if there's an election, I remember like when we had the general election, you find that the broadcasters will come together and have maybe a presidential debate together. They work together, you know. So that partnership and that collaboration is very important for the stakeholders, and discussing how others have been able to come out of certain challenges and how they are going to embrace the opportunities that are there, because we have to work together as a country, as a region, and also globally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm told we are out of time. I'm giving you each a chance to give your closing remarks.
Closing remarks. I think for the broadcasting industry in general, I think our senior leaders, can they make room for us as you know, young adults in the industry? We know we want to see our legacy broadcasting and stuff to sort of you know, merge with what we want in a sense. So if they can just make room for us in boardrooms as well, that will be very much appreciated.
Decision making.
Yes, 100%. If they can open up the space for us in that regard. But going back to the convention and why it matters, again, it's a platform that is meaningful for industry dialogue, you know, so that we can have such discussions with, you know, our industry peers and encourage collaboration and try and move the African broadcasting industry to a global platform. So yeah, those are my parting words.
Thank you very much. Mine is to thank our co-conveners, Broadcast Media Africa, for collaborating. We are actually setting an example when we say that in this industry you cannot be alone.
Yeah.
We also want to thank Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for being our official media partner. We thank also, allow me to thank the Media Council of Kenya for the support that they've given us, and all our partners who came within a very short notice to support us to make this event a success. I also want to thank the members of the Association of Professional Broadcasters and the organizing committee for putting this together. And just to say that we need to come and have those conversations. And those young broadcasters, we welcome you on board, even to register as members of the Association of Broadcasters. This is a very unique association, because the radio producers, the TV producers, the production crew here, they've never felt home in some of the associations that we have. But we came as broadcasters from various media houses and put this association together so that we can have this conversation and also play a role in shaping the future of broadcast, not just in Kenya, but beyond.
Will be the convention happening?
The conversation is tomorrow, Tuesday 26th, at Emara Olesereni Hotel, 26th of May to 28th of May.
Thank you so much.
So you're most welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. And we also thank you for making time to come and talk about reimagining the next within the media landscape in Africa. That is Tabitha Mutemi, OGW, who's the chairperson of Association of Professional Broadcasters, and also Nonkum Kise from Broadcast Media Africa. My name is Mike Migwe. This conversation ends now, but I want to take you over to Kisumu, where Simon Achola is ready to steer the next conversation. Simon Achola, if you can hear me, you can take it away.
Well, thank you, Mike, and good morning to our viewers. My name is Achola Simon, and of course coming to you from Kisumu County. This is the weekly program Western Spectrum, of course bringing you issues that affect this region and to a larger extent, of course, across the country. And today we are looking at tolerance, political tolerance, of course, on a common border boundaries, and what can actually be done in terms of ensuring that indeed communities coexist peacefully even as we go into election. I'll just go through statistics that were actually given by NCIC in 2022, and they say that the 3 out of 47 counties in this country, of course, have tensions related to one resource allocation and ethnic-based conflicts. This, of course, heightens during electioneering period, but also not so interesting is the fact that about 6 counties, that is Kericho, Uasin Gishu, Nairobi, Nakuru, Kisumu, and Mombasa, have a high risk of politically instigated violence during electioneering period. And of course, we have 10 that have elevated risk. This is a common occurrence each and every electioneering year, where NCIC come out and give those details. Politicians also go to the podium and do what they know best. Most of them, of course, inciting communities along political lines. This year is no different. We are already seeing in counties like Kisumu, Siaya, Busia, and other parts of the country, of course, politicians coming out, going to the podium and uttering words and remarks that are actually not so uniting. And for us there are a number of organizations that are actually doing a number of activities at the grassroots, and specifically here in Kisumu, Nandi County, Kericho, and other counties in this region, to try and foster peace and ensure that indeed communities living in this region continue to live peacefully. And today, to help us actually have this discussion is Lydia Adhiambo. Lydia Adhiambo works at the local capacities of Peace International, and she's also a human rights advocate. And we also have John Obure, who is a businessman in this community, but also a community leader. Welcome, gentlemen and lady. And we go straight into it because of time. Lydia, we have, your organization has actually been dealing closely with youth in this region. What are some of the enablers for, what is actually happening as we head into the next poll?
When you're asking enablers, I want to assume, or maybe ask just to clarify, you are talking about enablers for violence,
yes.
Why youth are actually being used mostly.
You're right.
The main reason in this region is because of the issue of unemployment and high cost of living. Of course, this cuts across in the whole country. All the youths are complaining about the issue of unemployment and high cost of living. But then the pull factor is the fact that the availability makes it very easy for political aspirants and politicians to take advantage of them. Because when you are available and you, at the end of the day, you don't know what you're going to get in terms of food, and there's this politician who is offering that, then that is a better, it's not even a better alternative, it's the only option you have. So the problem is that our people do not have alternatives. So then they pick what is available. And in this case, especially during this electioneering period, what is available is just the politicians giving them handouts. And that culture of handouts is something that I think we have perfected, in this country, all over. We have perfected the culture of handouts, and that is what youth are relying on. So sadly, that is one of the reasons why they are available to contribute, especially when it comes to violent issues.
That among other reasons, Lydia, but these issues have actually been discussed over and again. And because we have a politician and a community leader here, we need to ask them the secret in terms of why do they keep flouting the law each and every year. We have this discussion, tell youth not to engage in violence activities, but still you have a knack of ensuring that indeed youth are mobilized and put into this space. What is the secret?
Someone, let me tell you that in politics there are two things that matter. One is the tactic, and the other one is how you can appeal to the emotions of the people. And that's what politicians use most. Lydia has talked about the vulnerability of the youths because of unemployment. Almost a bigger percentage of the youth are vulnerable because they are not engaged. This is the time for politicians to take advantage of their vulnerability. And you have talked about the law, breaking the law by politicians. It is because the law enforcement arms of the government are also interested parties. Therefore, the application of the law becomes not very strict.
Selective.
It is selective to say. That's what makes our politicians look at issues to do with hate speech, issues to do with incitements. For the past 1 month, we have seen politicians uttering very bad statements, but who takes actions? Instead, those who utter bad statements, the next time you will find them with the big people who are supposed to enforce the law. Then what that tells the bigger public that you can break the law and you go away with it. In Kisumu, for example, now, majority of our youths that engage in unlawful activities, they will tell you that it will take only one phone call and they will be released from the police stations even if they are arrested. Yes. So it is incumbent upon the duty bearers to ensure that if it is enforcement, let it be enforced in total disregard to one's position in a society.
Yeah. Lydia, clearly it is a monster that needs to be slain. Yes. The question is, how do we get the courage? How then do we navigate the situation in terms of ensuring that indeed this monster can actually be slain? Because each and every year we have this discussion. We point out some of these messes, but every electioneering year, every cycle, we go back to the same discussion, point fingers and not act. How then do we slay this monster?
My opinion is that we need to shift what I call public incentives. Yeah, because you realize that, and what Mr. Obure is saying here is the real thing. Politicians become famous by being hateful, but politicians who are trying to do the right thing are not very famous. Their names are not very known. The only time we get to hear about them is probably when a report is presented and then we say, probably this county did better. That's when we get to know them. But politicians who are hateful are more famous. So in my opinion, what we need to do is what we call shift public incentives. So let's start to reward good things. Let's start to reward good traits. For example, we could be rewarding a politician who's considerate, who is more moderate in their speech. These are the people we need to vote for. But if we continue to vote for people who are hateful, people who are continually pushing towards ethnic division, then I think that is why we continue to talk about these conversations.
I am tempted to ask, how do we then have that paradigm shift? Because the way our politics is cultured, even now, you can actually see that our politics is configured around personalities, and those personalities come with their ethnic blocks, right? How then do we move away from such type of politics to a different type of politics where we are looking deeds? And then two, how then do we infuse in terms of getting more young people into this political space? Because today, most of these political people, they have said they are tribeless, they are leaderless, and they want to do things the right way. How then do we have more of them into the political space so that then they can actually actively participate in this, other than just having their phones, taking pictures, and then posting them, and then, of course, going for likes?
Maybe to respond to the first question, what I would say is some of the things that we do is now we are actually going down to the grassroots. I'm talking about my organization, Local Capacities for Peace International. So at the grassroots levels, this is where the conversation begins. And my opinion is we actually need to start civic education right from primary schools. Because you realize that we only talk about civic education when it's time for electioneering period, which is unfortunate, because we need to have this culture within us to know that this is what is expected. Much as we have rights, we also have responsibilities. And as we exercise our responsibilities, we have to remember that there's a generation that is coming behind us. Now, in terms of youth inclusion, you realize that currently, this Gen Z movement, especially when it started, it was hot, and then at some point, I don't know what is happening. But the issue that for every little thing, it triggers, like, it feels like the community is just waiting. The government will just do something or say something, and then everyone is up in arms, whether it's good or bad. This really shows that there's a bigger problem than what we are trying to handle. And again, we've said this over and over, elections is never our problem. There are so many issues that need to be addressed that have not been addressed. Only it is manifesting. Some of them you already mentioned, the issue of historical injustices, the issues of land, marginalization, So for me, are the key issues that need to be addressed. As long as we are not addressing this, elections will always come, but it will give us an opportunity, especially as youths, to just, manifest what is already within us. The other time, there was someone who was crying here at when I say the other time, I mean during the last Gen Z movement. There was a young man who was met here at Kondele. He was weeping really miserably. And why was he weeping? Because Robert Ouko was killed, And this is, I can assure you, because of his age. Yes. This is someone who never witnessed. He never saw Robert Ouko. He never witnessed the death. But then, because this is, it's a community, it's owned within the community. And, that community feels particularly that probably some of the issues were not handled the way they should have been handled. And government after government, they come and they do not handle. So this, there are burdens that we pass, or trauma that we pass from one generation to the next. So when we have elections, it is time to manifest. They just show. It is just, so when we treat elections, we are actually just treating the symptoms. But the root cause of the problem, most of the time, we have not handled. And that's why we are in this cycle.
John, when are we seeing politicians? Because if I'm electing you, I am giving you authority to actually go to parliament and then agitate for issues that actually affect the community, right? When are we seeing politicians? When are we seeing leaders in our communities putting the interest of the people in the forefront, rather than what we get to see on a daily basis, that them standing on the podium and singing praises for certain individuals?
Until the voter will understand that they need to elect whoever qualifies for their aspirations.
But John, let me cut you
short.
But
the problem here...
Just before you... We have seen people who are in the civil society space, and they have sung what Lydia is singing now here, right? But once we elect them and get them into that space, I want to point out a certain senior politician of a certain political party, right? He's been in the civil society space for quite some time, known as human rights activist, right? But when he gets into that space and stands on the podium, he's the first to say that you can actually do this and this and this, which of course goes against what he's been preaching for years. So even if you were to elect today a leader who say is of this thinking, what happens when you get to the other side and you decide, now I want to sing praises for a certain master and not the people that actually elected you?
There is unemployment and there is a call. Those two things we need to differentiate. So even in the civil society, you can have those non-state actors that are in that space because it is an employment issue. So he will be trying to implement what the program requires him or her to implement. Note that is the call.
Yes.
But there is also somebody who is in that space because it is a call. Lydia calls herself a human rights activist. Whether she is in the civil society or she is in the government where policies are implemented, if she stands by being a human rights defender, she will defend it even when she is in government. Yes, that's the problem we have. And we have it across all the borders. So you started asking about how the young people can be integrated into the political space.
Yes.
Simon, policies are made by leaders, and leaders that are sponsored by political parties. The biggest mistake we make as a people is that we join political parties as fans, but not as members. And when we join political parties,
or at times you don't even subscribe to the ideal.
That's what I'm saying. You will find many people crying here in Kenya when Arsenal loses or when Man U loses. But are they at a table where decisions on who is to be failed and what is to be done as Man U is being made? No, that's the biggest mistake we have in our communities. Majority, for example, if you come to this side, everybody will be saying we are ODM, members, or we belong to ODM, at what level do you belong to ODM? Do you belong to ODM at a level where you can make a decision?
Yes.
No. Ask, if you go to portal of Register of Political Parties now, you will find, for example, Kisumu Central, which is an ODM zone. You will find we have over 130,000 registered voters. But the ODM membership in Kisumu Central will not even be half that. And everybody will be making noise. So when decisions are being made, it is those few people who belong to that political party that will be brought to a table to make decisions. Not majority that has been making.
And the noise
So the only thing I can ask our community members, let us belong to those political parties.
How? Because, I mean, when I am asked to become a member of a political party and I become a member of a political party through subscription, right? Paying my subscription fee and becoming a member, how far am I supposed to go in terms of a space where I can actually make decisions? Two, when do we have situations where we can actually call our leaders to order? If a leader is going this direction and as members want to go the other direction, then we can actually call him to order and say, this is what we want. And how do we make our political parties strong? Because you've seen in other jurisdictions, like for instance in South Africa, where a party can actually recall you and decide that you are not going as per our wishes and our ideals. So then vacate this seat, so then someone else assumes that position.
Our party can recall you. So when you have an issue with an ODM MCA or an ODM or PNU or UDA MP,
John,
and you are not a member.
Give me an example, because we have happening in the country, right? Just give me one example where a party in this country actually was able to recall, a member of parliament or whichever elected positions, and then
you can't recall a member if that member acts the way you want him to act. Lydia said,
Lydia is burning.
Lydia said in Kenya, yes, Lydia said in Kenya, we reward fame and politicians become famous by doing bad things. Those bad things are entertained by those political parties. Those political parties entertain those bad things. Therefore, if we want to change those bad things, it is us to join those political parties and tell them that these are not the things that we want. But when we make noise from outside, we will not change those things.
Is it the way, Lydia?
Mr. Obure,
I can see actually burning with a very one point that wants to kill it, to burst your chest, right? So we will give you a space. Yes. Then is it the way our parties are structured that actually denies members of these political parties a space to actually have a voice in those parties, or is it just the lackluster manner in which we deal with politics in this country that actually fuels what we actually, or Obure is actually talking about?
I think it's structured. What we have on paper and how we act, even at political party levels, is very different. And Mr. Obure, when you say that we all have to come and make a decision, we can't all make decisions. That is why we have democracy. And democracy means that we have to disagree, except we disagree respectfully. So that we are members or non-members of a political party or not, I think the key issue is, how do the members behave? Do they act as per what they say? Now, the problem we're having is that we don't have people who are honest. Yeah, you will have, like now Mr. Obure here is a member of ODM. When his interests are not served, he will quickly move to UDA or any other political party.
Or form his own political party.
And now they forget. There's one politician here who really is very funny to me. He amuses me. Because at one point when he was on the other side, everything with the government wasn't working. Now he's on this other side and everything has been perfect ever since we started. And that shows that there's no loyalty when it comes to politicians. So, and all of us cannot make decisions. That's why we entrust individual individuals to make decisions on our behalf. The much we can do is to raise our voices and tell them, as you go to make these decisions for us, please consider 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the issue of youth inclusion is something that has been talked about over and over.
Again.
And these political parties, you can only pinpoint, probably you can count them on your fingers, the ones that have tried to do that. Even the issue of inclusion of women. We remember at some point, even when we were talking about affirmative action, there are men who rose against it and they were saying, why should we have that? But the question we are saying, can we have a platform that all of us are able to contribute? You see, for me, even an affirmative action for the youth would not really be such a bad idea. Because affirmative action is not a permanent solution. It's something that we do temporarily until we get to a level where we feel now we are at an equal level, and then now we can start having those conversations equally as Mr. Obure is pushing us to do.
How then do we move that conversation from a level where we are discussing politics, we are discussing political parties, we are discussing politicians, and ensuring that the chaos and incitement they ferment at the grassroots that actually translate into violence is actually stopped at that level and not getting to the people on the ground who actually, in most situations, are not part and parcel to their differences up there, but suffer the most.
I think the major problem or the challenge, let me use the word challenge, that we have is that most of the time we associate political competition with ethnic competition, which is not. Political competition are very different from ethnic competition. When someone doesn't choose which community they come from, that we have UDA's party leader coming from one community and we have ODM's party leader coming from a different community, does not mean these communities need to fight as long as these two individuals are not able to agree on something. And for me, actually, the essence of democracy, I would repeat, is that we disagree. We may not agree, but the fact that we disagree, conflict in itself is not bad, because conflict is how communities grow. Conflict is how even nations grow, because we can't have all of us agree. But what we do, even in our civic education, we did not teach the important role that the opposition takes. So when we are in the opposition, we feel like we have lost. But because we do not know that even in the opposition, we actually have more voice. Let's use the example of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga. He was in the opposition, but through the opposition, the whole world got to know him. Why? He was an oversight body in himself. As an individual, he was an oversight body, So being in the opposition is not a bad thing after all. Maybe if we teach our people, when we are doing civic education, that it's not always that you have to win for you to be able to, make whatever changes you want to make in the society. You can actually do them.
Benefit from the national cake.
Again, that's a whole discussion altogether. Yes.
John, already we are hearing war drums in the sense that there are counties in this country where already people are saying, and in Busia, for instance, after the killing of those 5 youth, already there's a clear line, and people are already calling, saying that certain communities must not participate in certain activities in this community, and it's awash on social media. Is it by the fact that some of our political parties are actually inclined on ethnicity? Is it one of the major reasons as to why, we continue having these problems over and over again? Their leaders have actually come out strongly and asked that we do away with politics that are actually ethnic based. That hii ni chama yangu tu ya Busia, hii ni chama yangu ya Bungoma, hii ni chama yangu ya Kakamega, right? So then we have national parties. Is it time that you actually looked at it critically and said that yes, indeed, it is time for us to have national parties that actually represent the ideals and the thinking of the nation, rather than having a small party that actually just looks into the interest of your community or your own individual interest?
I will go back to what I told you in my first remarks, that politics is about tactics and emotions. And it is the emotions that most politicians use. Legally and structurally, any registered political party in Kenya is national. legally and structurally. There is no political party that will be registered in Kenya when its executive organ does not have a representative of at least members from 24 counties. That is the law. And the ORPP has been very strict on it. But what happens after registration, it is us politicians who go and wipe up emotions of their ethnic communities to bundle that political party to be a certain
conclave.
So, politics and political party politics is not the problem. It is the people we elect. I want to look at the structure of devolution. For example, if you go to Kisumu, all elected and nominated MCAs of Kisumu County, save for one who is an independent, all out of 47 are ODM members. Don't we have a problem in Kisumu? And leader said, it is not only politics that is our problem. We have 47 MCAs belonging to ODM. Don't we have waste management problem in Kisumu? If you go to Kondele today, the waste has never been collected for the past 2 months. What has that use? Yeah? So, it is not about politics. It is about leaders that are elected that are not up to the task for which the people donated their mandate to do. So it is that why I was saying we must go back to the people themselves. Tell them, one, get to know if it is Obure that you want to elect, does he qualify? Because look at civic education that Lydia was talking about. Recently, IBC, and it happened the other time. The other time, it is politicians that refused totally to allocate money for civic education. But by law, civic education, civic and voter education is left to IBC. They requested money for the same, they were not given money. How will they do it? How will they conduct the grassroots voter and civic education? This time, they requested the money. It is our politicians who refused. And in fact, funnily, one of the youthful legislators of the National Assembly said civic and voter education is for the civil society.
Sadly.
There's a youth. That's a youthful legislator. So it is not about, when we are talking about these boundaries, we must capture the ethnic boundary, the demographic boundary, the ethnic, you see, so that we bring those people to board and call them out. Tell them, you are not doing the right thing. For community peace, we did something with LCPI and other organizations in Kondele about demonstrations. And going grassroots the way he said, we went the grassroots way. By the way, Kondele is ever graded as a hot spot. But it is never hot from within. It is hot from without. Many people have been gunned down. Many people have been injured. But when we are now transporting these bodies, Simon, they are ever from outside Kondele. There are people that we cannot identify.
Who actually brought their
In Kondele, that
John,
for demonstrations, if you want to demonstrate and you are coming from Bandani, please do it in Bandani. If you want to demonstrate and you are from Mamboleo, do it from Mamboleo. Let us not have Kondele as a meeting center where everybody comes.
A very good point to end. Your bad manners to Kondele.
Yeah.
Right. Conclusion.
In conclusion,
Just 30 seconds, please.
Let's encourage leaders that it is okay to lose. So when we have this culture of it is okay to lose and it is okay to win, then it will not be a do or die sort of situation when we are doing elections. And ultimately, elections is not our problem. Let us go back to the root cause of our problems, and let us handle them from those levels, whether it is at the county level or national level, or even at community levels. And most importantly, vijana debe ndio place, vita hapana.
John. Monopoly is a bad thing, whether it is political, religious, or institutional monopoly. Let us not have monopoly of political parties in a given area.
Fantastic. John and Lady, of course, giving us their wisdom on exactly what needs to be done in terms of ensuring that indeed we avert violence that is associated with politics. Of course, the drumbeats are out there, and we are already hearing what politicians are saying and communities are saying, but they're saying there's need for peaceful coexistence and, of course, ensuring that things are done in the right manner. I take you back to Broadcasting House. My name is Achala Simon. On behalf of each and every person who's actually made this possible, our camera persons, Christine and Simon Nyamatiko, and of course our producers in Nairobi, we take you back to Broadcasting House and ensure that indeed you can have this conversation continuing on our social media handles through Achala Simon and of course at KBC Channel 1.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Jong has that quality. I think the reason you like him, or once liked him, is because you see that in him.
You've tried harder than me and been braver. You've done well, comrade.
Me, brave? I'm just reckless. If I don't see a way out, then I make one. But I never thought I'd end up all alone again.
Sasa hizi ndio zawadi umeniletea.
Kumbe Mosheo Chwangi alituweka katika pili kama sunde ameandikwa nini. Mkubwa ameandika vizuri, tunagawiwa sisi wawili, wewe unaenda kuongeza mwingine.
Umesikia bununu? Tuna trend.
Ni kitu gani unanitafuta mimi?
Huyu mama dai ni mchambushito.
Yes. Milioni 3.
Nilipe pesa zangu.
Wenda hata kama ni kwa chifu.
Utafungwa, ngoja niende polisi.
Ole matope! Ole matope kuja bwana. Huko kimeumana.
Welcome back. Time now for Family Check, and today we are still continuing with the topic we had last week, which is marriage and modern day challenges, restoring the matrimonial foundation. That is what we want to focus on, because today marriage sits at the intersection of modern identity, traditions, and also what you'd say is rapidly shifting social expectations, and beyond love and ceremony. Couples are competing with challenges when it comes to matters of culture, faith, psychology. So the question now shifts to whether marriage is important, and also if its foundation is still strong enough to stand or withstand the realities of a modern day world. For that conversation, I will be having Pastor David Makori, who is an author and a family man. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Mike.
And also Apostle Helen Anthony, who is the founder of Marital Travel International. She is also a financial advisor and counselor. Karibu sana.
Thank you, sir.
I want to start with you, actually. There's something we were talking off air, and you said that marriages don't go wrong.
Yeah.
Marriages start wrong.
Yes.
Clarify.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike,
Karibu,
for having us back again for such a conversation. Yeah, marriages don't go wrong. Like this institution don't just grow and all of a sudden things are not working. Or what I can see is that marriage begins wrong. Like the Bible speaking says, when the foundation is shaken, what can the righteous do? So this foundation of this institution must be right. Because what makes it wrong at the end is the things that we need to check that goes unchecked. You didn't check the foundation where you are marrying, hidden expectations before you get married. So those things that you need to understand, you need to get them right before you begin this institution. That's why if we get to the book of Genesis, chapter number 24, I believe we get to see a man called Abraham advising Isaac not to marry from Midianites. Actually, he was telling, go to our own tribe, you know, and get a woman for my son Isaac. It is not advisable to get someone to get a wife for you, but you must marry from your own tribe. The things you believe in, the things you want to do in future. Are you moving at the right direction? Because if you don't do the checks, it will hunt you down. Hata mukienda 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Those things that you hate, when you are doing the courtship, you understand that I didn't tell my spouse that maybe there are things that I've gone through in my childhood. Those traumas, we are seeing them now coming up even in the marriage. And these are the things now we want to tell our generation. Please, before you get married, even have a person whom you can entrust with your, because this one is like a destiny. Align with a person who is going to your own destiny. And the Bible speaking says that let the older women advise the younger women. Same case. Our fathers are here. Let them advise the young men on how to approach this institution.
But are you seeing that happening?
It is not happening, Mike. That's why we are in a crisis. We just meet and chemistry happens and now we are good preparing for the big day. We are busy preparing for the wedding, not the marriage. Things don't go wrong at the end, they begin wrong.
So people prepare for the big day instead of the marriage stage. Pastor David, begging on what strong marital foundation?
Strong marital foundation, I speak from the people who are in church and those who are not in church. Because we have people who are not in church and they are still married. Some of them, their marriage is doing well. Others, they are struggling. Others, they are not. They are doing well from the outlook, but the internal struggles don't always come out loud. A strong marriage is a marriage where people are ready to forgive and forget and move on. The second thing, a strong marriage is a marriage where the Word of God is the foundation, is a standard for life. You see, like if I go to court to argue a case, I'll always refer to the Constitution. So if we are arguing anything in marriage or anywhere, we must look at the Constitution that brought us together. For us who are Christians, the Bible, we have to see what does the Word say over this Word. A strong marriage also is a marriage where people are open to one another. Apostle has mentioned about 10 years, then people begin to crumble down. That means they were not open in the beginning. something was hidden under the carpet. In my book, Stolen Waters, I've written that when we were young, we wrote with pencils because you were allowed to make mistake and erase.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, you use a pen. You're not allowed to make mistakes. In other words, there is a place you come to, things that you do, you can't erase them. They will always come out and come to the open. And lastly, a strong marriage is a marriage where God is the center. You know, she mentioned about the fathers not really helping the young men, because she talks about older women should guide the younger women. The same case, older men should guide the young men. But now the young men don't listen because they can go to AI and get information. They say you lived in another century, you are living in a different century. But something I would like to say is man is the same. Whether we are in an explosion of knowledge dispensation or that old dispensation. Something inside us that God created doesn't change, even though knowledge keeps on changing. So a strong marriage requires that how do we begin? Why do we begin? Where are we going? It requires mature people as well.
Yes, you have to be mature within
You
that
have to
space.
be mature.
And one of the most important aspects, and actually there has been cited to cause marital breakdown, is matters that pertain to communication. You know, what does communication breakdown in marriage actually look like beyond not just talking? How does it begin?
All right. Marital breakdown, I believe it doesn't happen also overnight. And actually, it is not lack of love that breaks the communication. What I believe that breaks this communication is pride. You know, we are too proud to listen. We are too proud to listen to each other. We find that there are resentments. We are too harsh. When we are addressing our spouses, we use harsh ones. They travel to the deepest part of our heart. That is when somebody now begins to grow this cold, there is emotional distance that now begins to create a wall between spouses. And at the end of the matter, you understand that now because there is an emotional need in every man. There is that emotional need. And now when the walls begin to rise, communication breaks down. And that's why now as pastors and as apostles, the religious leaders, we are finding it difficult to solve these issues, whereby now a married man is now confiding to another lady, married or not married. Why? The emotional need in a marriage has been assumed by lack of communication. So there are so many things that we need to do as couples to make sure that marriages are standing on healthy communication. Because when we break the communication, what happens, we begin to work on assumptions. I just assume my husband wanted to say this, he wanted to do that, or else he wanted to do something very different. So we begin now to work like DCIs in our own homes. We just begin to work like, oh, you wanted to do that? I'm waiting for you on the other side. I pray that we go back to God and begin to forgive and to listen, not to judge. We listen to understand. Some people just, they just need to be given a chance to speak, and you will understand they meant something different. But because now the breakdown of communication is already there, we just want to assume what they wanted to say, we mean different. But I pray that we understand that we don't need to like to win arguments. We just need to work in unity in our marriage.
The way you've put it, we should listen to understand,
not to judge.
Which brings another aspect within the communication aspect within marriage. The how. This is what I mean. I meet someone, there's a way I communicate. There's a way she communicates. You see, the how I do it is different from how she does it. Is the problem when it comes to communication the how of that whole aspect that brings a breakdown in marriages?
Yeah, the how requires also to understand timing and the using of words. Communication involves asking questions, talking stories, communicating what is inside you, what you're planning to do. Communication is wide. There are many things that when we bring all of them together, we sum up them to mean communication. Now the how to ask or communicate requires timing. You don't say a statement which can bring a problem at that time. It is well meant, it was for the good, but the timing and the words used, they are always misunderstood or misjudged. Communication also requires that attitude, because if someone has already a negative attitude, even if you are communicating something good, it will be misunderstood. So attitude is very important in marriage and in communication, and also the state of the heart, because an evil heart will always read evil in everything you are trying to bring forth. And also I would like to say that communication in marriage requires also to spend time together. We can even be together, we are not talking, but we are communicating. Body language can communicate. We have been married for 26 years. Sometimes my wife and I just drive, we go park somewhere, sit in the car, we are not talking, nobody's in the phone, but we are communicating, just being together. We are communicating that I love you, to spend time with you. So that if you have anything you wanted to ask, I create an environment for you to ask. Sometimes we think we are communicating when we are asking questions. Did you see my suit? Did you eat? We think we are communicating, but we are asking questions.
The normal questions.
Those are questions. Communication is spending time together, asking questions, saying stories, speaking about what you want to do, what you have intended to do. And also to add on what she said about marriage don't crumble down in an overnight because there was no communication. I would also like to add that there's a word called entropy, which means that when you neglect a room for long, it becomes dirty. So if you neglect one another for long, something takes over. If you don't take care of a room for some time, you find that some dust has just gathered. So there's a lot of dust that just gathers in a marriage because of neglect, and the neglect comes through social media or digital pressure, that we are together, but you are talking with somebody far, not the one you are there with. Both of us are in phone, but communicate with somebody else. So if you neglect this one for long, the way she's putting it, I will assume that you are okay. And then that neglect begins to attract a lot of decay, and idle energy begins to rise, and it destroys communication. So communication begins from speaking your heart, asking questions, talking stories, spending time together, eating together. You know, it's a wide thing that when brought together, it means communication.
The way you've put it, communication is wide.
Very wide.
Apostle, you know, children in a marriage setup, we can't ignore that. But then again, when there's poor communication, how does it extend beyond the couple now and begin to affect the emotional development, stability, and even worldview of the children that they are bringing up?
All right, thank you, Mike. As I speak this, I would want to speak about myself. I was brought up in an environment that was so chaotic. The environment was not as good as I wanted. But as I was growing, now I began to develop defensive mechanism, because now I understood that I have to develop something for me to survive in this environment. And that's why anytime I hold a meeting, because we hold these meetings once per month in this Nairobi city, I always tell parents that we are not in marriage because of your personal issues. It is no longer personal. Marriage is no longer personal. It is generational. Whatever we are raising depends on how we treat each other.
Yes.
And again, the Bible speaking says that train up a child in the ways of God, and when they grow up, they will not leave them.
Yes.
What it means, it is not speak to the children. Training entails what you do.
Yes, because children learn from what you do.
Yeah. Children, it is a monkey do, a monkey see,
Yes.
monkey do.
Children recognize behavior more.
Thank you. So, however they see us treating each other, that is how they absorb. That is how they grow. Because we parents have not developed a conducive environment for these children.
Yes.
So personally, God has worked on me because I grew up now a very angry woman, annoyed woman. Even when you could have come meaning well, I had to take some time to believe that you mean well.
And that is your
Yes.
defensive mechanism.
That was defensive mechanism. So take it this way. Now, a man who is my man today, my husband, did not realize that the woman I am marrying came from this environment. He will think that I married the worst woman. And this is what is happening in our marriages today. You did not know where you married from.
You didn't even seek information as to how you grew up.
Yes. Because I could have just rectified what I went through to make sure, or you would have weighed, will I be able to deal with this or not, before we got married.
It's not even rectifying, it's about creating a very different environment, Pastor, when it comes to how one was, the environment in which one was brought up. How do you see that now affecting marriages today, especially when it comes to how couples treat each other when there is a crisis actually? Yes.
Yeah, every person's character is amplified in a crisis. If you're in a crisis, we will know your character.
Yes. Sure.
And some people's character also comes up when they are in a joyful mood. So there are different situations that amplify somebody's character. The way couples treat each other, I would like to say that parents who are parenting children below 10, they have different challenges. And parents who are parenting teenagers have different challenges. And those who are parenting children who now need inheritance, where she talked about our parents now at 60-something, some of the challenges those at 60-something do go through is favoritism. Mom favors these other children, dad wants these other children. So that's where Mzana feel like, I will need to discipline you because this is how things need to go, but you are taking me different. The way we handle each other as couples affects our children. In my book, Stolen Waters, I've said some of the things you do privately, even when children are young, when they grow up, they will do them in the open. Because it is a seed you are planting, and finally it will germinate and bring forth fruits. We have a 6-year-old boy. He calls my wife, babe, where are you? Because he had me call my wife, babe. So he doesn't know that babe is a love language between these two. So he thinks babe is a name that this mama is called. So the way you bring up yourselves, the way you handle differences. And I want to also say that Christian marriages, money is not the only solution. Prayer is the big solution. The enemy would like to interfere with what God is doing. If God brought up marriage, the enemy wants to scatter it, because he knows if I scatter marriage, I've scattered a church, I've scattered a nation, I've scattered children. One of the reasons why the young people are saying marriage is a scam is because they have looked at these things and they're like, oh, is this thing really going to work? It's not a scam. So that communication and the way we handle one another, it can spill down to the children without knowing. Children, they have a way of just learning things that watu leo waongei. So in that process, there is a way they will also act or react later. So I would like to say that when we have differences as husband and wife, let's look for a place we can sort them out. My wife and I have a plan that we don't sort out differences at night. No, we don't want to affect other things that go on at night. We solve differences in the morning because you have a longer day to socialize with other people.
And even in the morning you are fresh.
you are fresh. Hata kama mlikosana asubuhi, you will still have some more other people to talk to, and by the time you come in the evening, you have offloaded a few things. So communication really and handling challenges can spill to the children. Can spill to the children.
Apostle, there's something about counseling I want us to dissect a little bit. You know, many couples they do seek spiritual counseling, especially when they're in a crisis. However, when you look at it and from your perspective, does spiritual counseling sometimes do more harm than good?
Sure. We've seen it happen severally. And this would be my advice. Do not just seek counsel from everybody. Like, because I am an apostle or I'm a pastor, I don't qualify automatically to guide somebody on the marital path. Because the religious part of it, there is a lot of confusion that is happening. You'll find that the religious has accommodated somebody who is in second marriage, third marriage, fourth marriage, and they are still serving God, which is okay. But that person doesn't have marital authority to counsel anybody. I just say it respectively, because the Bible speaking says one man, one wife. So anytime now you go to somebody who left the first marriage with a lot of bitterness, they have not healed. They will give you a counsel from the place of bitterness, from the place of offense, from the place of resentment. So that person will tell you, if they do this to you, please learn for your life. I'm also in my second marriage, you can still make it.
So they will be advising from their point of
course,
from their experience.
And you know, every seed, every tree will produce after its own kind.
Thank you.
If there's a place I compromised, I'll give birth to the children that compromise. So this spiritual counseling depends on what is the foundation of this person, because I can't give you what I don't have. God does not give Isaac, God does not ask you Isaac if he didn't give you the Isaac. So I can only give you, Mike, what I have. Even if I pretended to have it, it's a matter of time. It will explode and look like it was not there. So this spiritual counseling is two-sided. One side, who is giving it? Another side, the person you are giving it, what is his or her connection with God? The Bible says in the book of Isaiah that God is looking at people, or God is looking for people that can tremble at his word. You can give people counseling spiritually what the word says, but they don't tremble at his word. These people are not converted. So you are like planting a seed on a rock. It doesn't help. And that's why some of the people are in charge. Wanafanya vituko mpaka you people of the media wonder, like, is this thing really in charge? And you find cameras there because somebody who has been there, we have been thinking we are planting a seed on a good soil, but it was a rock. So first of all, it begins by someone who is converted in the spirit and the heart to trample at the word of God, such that when you plant the word, it has room, it has place.
And Apostle, when we talk about restoring matrimonial foundation, because we have to talk about that, how do we restore this foundation in a healthy way without romanticizing the past or ignoring modern day realities?
All right, it is just by going back to the design that God gave us concerning marriage. There is what God intended for this marriage to work. What is happening in our modern day is we are distorting, or we are trying to pastoring what was not meant to be there. We just want to find the easy way out, overlooking now the real thing that God said concerning the marriage. So if a man needs to be there for the family, he doesn't want to be there. If the wife is told to submit, I am asking, submit to what? Like, I saw something in the social media, and the caption was ending with, submit to what? I'm here to say, don't marry a man you cannot submit to. Don't ask us to submit to what? You know what you married to. Like, submit to, you knew, like I needed to be married by Anthony. I have to submit to him. The Bible does not say I submit to my husband when he is good. It is a command. So as a man also, there is a caption. God has told you, love as Christ loved the church. There is a standard.
Yes.
We go back to the standard of God.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you think, Apostle, as we come to the close of this conversation?
Thank you, Mike. Restoring matrimonial foundation begins by restoring man. Man in this sense, I don't mean man in a trouser and woman. I just mean mankind.
Yes.
Mankind needs to be restored. In the apostles talked about going back to the design which God created.
Yes.
Let me also add something that there are people who are not connected to church, but they are married.
Yes.
I would like to say that what we have lost in us, it is that human fear, that fear and respect that man needs to have. God is the designer of this marriage. And first of all, as we have said, take the word of God as the standard. Number two, understand what are you entering into. Because some people get married out of lust. And when lust has served its purpose, they feel like we can't continue. Restoring the matrimonial foundation also requires that we put aside the competition.
Yes.
The competition is social media, the phones. You can actually be with your spouse and she's in the phone. Or he's in the phone.
Yeah.
And also, there are challenges that have come because of the fast life we are living now, whereby everything is expensive. So two people must work, husband and wife. So maybe one has come home with a lot of work in the mind and the pressure. It eats up with the marriage time.
Yeah.
So I would like to say that to restore that matrimonial foundation, we first of all restore man. Let man be restored.
Yes.
Remove the heart of a beast and have the heart of a man.
Very important.
And then get God at the center.
You know, Pastor David Makori is an author. He has authored a book called Building a Culture for Success and also Stolen Waters. These are some of his works that he has done, and we thank you for making time to come and talk about this very important issue. And also, Apostle Helen Anthony is a financial advisor, counselor, and founder, Marital Travel International. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you, Mike.
This is where this conversation ends. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwi. We put a cap on matters. Good morning, Kenya today. We do this again tomorrow morning. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
The 5th East Africa Broadcasters Convention will be held on the 26th to 28th of May 2026 at Emara Ole Sereni Hotel, Nairobi. We expect 200 delegates across the region. We are going to discuss a lot of things. The theme for this year's East Africa Convention is Reimagining Next, Artificial Intelligence and Cloud Broadcasting. To register to participate actually in the convention, visit the Association of Professional Broadcasters website, www.apbke.org, and register. The registration fee is 15,000 Kenyan shillings for the 3 days convention. You are most welcome. Let us have conversations, connections, and make decisions that are going to shape the future of broadcasting.
Sasa hizi ndio zawadi umeniletea.
Kumbe Moshe Ojwangi alituweka katika pili kama sunde ameandikwa nini? Mkubwa ameandika vizuri, tunagawiwa sisi wawili. Wewe unaenda kuongeza mwingine.
Umesikia bununu? Tuna trend.
Ni kitu gani unanitafuta mimi?
Huyu mama dai ni mchamsito. Ai.
Milioni 3.
Nilipe pesa zangu.
Wenda hata kama ni kwa chifu.
Utafungwa, ngoja niende polisi.
Ole matope! Ole matope kucha bwana. Huko kimeumana.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Hivi, alafu hivi, si ndio? 1, 2, 1, 2.